folks. Grab a seat and pour your drink neat as Whiskers and Whiskeys present Tales of the Trophies, the Big Ten's greatest rivalries, season 1 finale. Finale. Actually, the end of it this time. Last week was the last trophy, but we told you we weren't done. We're coming back, and we are, and we've got some special guests joining us this week.
Yes, we do. We are back. We couldn't stay away for too long. Joe, how are you feeling before we introduce our guests?
I'm good. We're back, just like I hear Texas might be.
Oh, I can't. We have to talk about that. We have to fit that in here off the top a little bit.
Well, we'll see what we can do about that.
We're gonna talk about it.
Well, why don't I introduce the two guests we have here? So, because it's a finale, we decided to change up the format here. I guess I can describe what we're even going to do today. So in order to accomplish our goals today, we needed to add a couple of people to the episode. So these two are loyal listeners, longtime listeners, and even longer time friends. We've mentioned them a few times in multiple episodes, but we have Chris, we have Doyle. How are you guys doing today, guys?
Going on, feel good. Ready to talk some Big Ten trophies here.
Yeah, I've been growing out my whiskers for a couple days to
I love it.
Satisfy the title.
I love it. It looks good, man. It looks good.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you boys on. I gotta say, it's nice. I'm very excited for this episode. Been looking forward to it all week here. Feels good. Feels great. I'm very excited for what we're about to get into here.
Yeah, so for the listeners, we are going to still talk about a very special drink to all of us on the pod. And after that, we're going to give some of our top moments from season 1, things that we've all enjoyed, whether that be something that one of us did, or if it's something that a story within, that we told today or told over season 1. And then after that, we created a very, very nice bracket, March Madness style. We are going to, by the end of the episode, figure out who or what trophy was the best trophy of season 1.
Each round is sponsored. We have Lockheed Martin sponsoring 2 of the first round games. We've got Barstool sponsoring one.
You're talking about this episode. I was like, wow, we got really stepped it up this week.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Stay tuned. Dickie V might talk about his sleepers or some of the Cinderella stories that we have on this bracket.
I think we might. We might. I think I put that bracket together based on. I should note, it's all based on our composite scores throughout the season. And I was actually really pleased with how it turned out. Based on the rankings, I think we might have some upsets. We got some great first round matchups. I think we might have some upsets in here. So I'm especially early on when we didn't have much to compare it to. Like towards the end, we had things. I'm thinking some of those early episodes might be ranked a little bit low. So we'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. And for us, this is going to be perfect. We have 5 people on the pod, so we're going to vote, and majority rules is how these trophies are going to advance throughout the bracket.
And with our powers combined, we create Captain Planet. So that's why we won 5-2 as well. So there we go.
So before we get to that, Joe, why don't you, for the last time in season 1, tell us what we're drinking, why we're drinking it. Let's go.
So this week we have a drink that is probably, like you mentioned, close to all of our hearts. Even Mike, I'm sure he's kind of adopted it as
absolutely
as a favorite of his.
Hearts and livers, huh?
Yeah. So feel free to chime in if you guys have anything to add. This is a drink that we had way too many in college, called the Chameleon, and some people probably know it as the Irish trash can or the trash can. It's just a whole bunch of shit put together and with a floater of a Red Bull. So it's blue curacao, vodka, gin, rum, triple sec, peach schnapps, and then, like I said, the Red Bull floater. If anyone is actually watching on YouTube, has the greenish blue, kind of changes color as you drink it, and you lift the floater as you go. So lots going on in there, and it's good for a nighttime Red Bull if you're looking for something to keep you up. Not the
best drink at 8 in the evening. Did anyone else have trouble with the floater? I had some issues with mine.
I did. That's why I had to get rid of mine. No.
It's did you put too much ice? Was it just too much liquid?
Chris is riding bareback.
Yeah, a little too much of the clear liquids.
You just gotta commit.
That's looking good.
You gotta commit.
I am like right on the brink of disaster.
I got a nice teal color though.
So you need a straw.
You said you gotta
straw.
commit. What's the key? Just like jam it in there and
so
like
you got to make sure you have room, not too much ice, and just kind of jam it in there. But as you drink, and this was also something that happened in college at the Stone, as you chug it through your straw, you slowly lift it, and it will raise the level. And we have a good friend who likes to go around and lift that Red Bull to force people to chug it as you're standing there. So
I forgot a straw. This might be a little tricky here.
I'm
gonna have to do what Chris did.
Yep.
I don't have a straw either.
Yeah, straw is key because then you can drink as you lift, and you're not trying to, because you can't really tip it and drink out of the glass or whatever you're drinking out of.
We're doing that.
Yeah, without the Red Bull. With the Red Bull
I got
floater.
one of the big Red Bulls.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes I like to use lemon juice, but this time I went with Red Bull.
And just so you know, I thought about sugar-free, but I just went full Red Bull to get the full experience here. And I also bought a second one that's blueberry. So we might be taking an intermission for 2, and I might
potty
be
break
up to like 4 a.m. We'll see.
Yeah, we're gonna be bounced off the walls here.
Yeah, this will be a 6-hour episode.
Might be some late night drops on Warzone after this.
Strap in.
And also, just for the listeners, you should now at least have an expectation that by the semifinals of this bracket or the finals, it's either going to get very sloppy speaking wise, very argumentative, or probably both. So be ready.
I'm excited to see where this goes.
All right, guys.
I'm very, very.
Well, let's get these. These
I also forgot to mention.
Here.
I did a little research on this. And I couldn't remember. And there's a very good reason that I don't remember. I don't think EJ remember. I don't think any of you guys remember, but I couldn't remember how much this drink cost at the Cornerstone. So I asked a few friends, actually one that still lives in Erie, and they're all like, one said probably like $4. And then one said under $6 for sure. So I think it's somewhere between $3 to $6.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of alcohol in this. And I don't know how many we would drink in one night, but it was
what a steal.
A few.
What a deal.
We also went to school in Erie, Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
and that's why if you stuck to the special, you didn't spend in that given week in any of the bars or on any given day during the week, you probably didn't have to spend over $250 if you stuck to the specials. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
no, something of this quality in DC would be easily $15-$20.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
I like how you said this quality too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Right?
It's all high,
volume of alcohol equals quantity. Their quality.
Right. It's all top shelf liquor too, especially at the Stone.
Yeah.
Bankers Club.
It also stays along the lines of the 10-cent beers on Wednesdays. So.
That's what I was gonna say. Besides the 10-cent Natty Light Wednesdays, this was the next best special that everyone went to. So
let's not forget that 10-cent drafts obviously got a lot of the attention on Wednesdays, but along with that was 50-cent wells or rail drinks. So,
actually, didn't they do a tequila sunrise special?
Yep.
EJ had that a few times, didn't he?
Yeah,
I believe so.
I think so.
How did that
sometimes it turned into like a shitty night for him though.
Two times in particular.
I remember. So we didn't really go to bars. It was such a big Greek life culture at W&J that we didn't go to bars. But once upon a time, I did go to Morgantown, and I think they were quarter pitchers at the time because they couldn't do penny pitchers anymore for state law. So it's a quarter now. That was a lot of fun. Highly recommend Morgantown. I went there on Halloween once.
Heard good things. I think we even talked about it on here.
I'm sure we did.
Halloween. I recall a Halloween.
Yes. Oh, yeah. God. Oh, man. I'd like to see what they wear on a normal night.
Yeah.
See what they wore on Halloween.
All right, boys.
Dudes, right?
Why don't we
dudes,
yeah. Why don't we cheers to this and get on to the top moments of the season 1. So
cheers, boys. Oh, can we talk a little bit about how Texas is back? My top moment of season 1 is Texas being back.
There we go. Look at that
Again,
color
change. That's nice.
Oh, that's a real nice color change there.
Yeah, my pour
Get it, Doyle.
did a nice little.
Oh,
nice
Doyle,
little
there you go, Bob. There
We're gonna have to take a break now.
My man took it down.
Well, we
Oh,
can
you're
tell
right,
which
you
one
go.
of us has 2 kids at home.
This is the highlight of my day for sure.
Your week.
Sure.
Look at that
Oh,
color
God.
change.
All right, Mike, why don't you start us off with top moments here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say my top moment is Texas being back of this college football.
That's how you want to
season
use
ever.
it. Go ahead.
I'm gonna use it. Yeah, every college football season, my top moment is Texas being back.
All right,
And
all
we
right, all right.
already have Texas being back for the 2022 season because Quinn Ewers entered the transfer portal, left Ohio State, and he's heading back to Texas. I honestly think listen, I know that I'm very facetious about Texas being back. I love them. I think that Quinn Ewers and Sark, I think that's actually gonna be a really good combination. I think that's gonna go together like, lamb and tuna fish. Or maybe spaghetti and meatball if you're
If
not
you
comfortable
prefer.
with that analogy. Yeah. But no, I think, or peas and carrots if you're a gumper like me. But I mean, I think it is going to be an awesome combination. I love how Texas is back every year. It's just something very near and dear to my heart. Should I roll through all 3 of my my favorites?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
All right. So number 2, which may be my like genuine number 1, is when we talked about the Cyhawk Trophy, and we'll get to this a little bit later. The original creator looks just like Triple H. And like those pictures of him with the original trophy, like just so proud, like him and his beer league buddies, like saved this rivalry, came up with this trophy. It's such a knockoff of the Heisman. And he does look like Triple H if Triple H time traveled. Like that guy just really warmed the cockles of my heart.
How do you know he didn't?
He, if anyone can figure it out, it's probably the game, the cerebral assassin. So, and I had another one for number 3. Well, actually, I'm moving some things around because, I put Texas as number 1, but number 3 for me, because I know that it's already on your list, EJ, is the homeless dude guarding the Spartan. Like that picture when we talked about the Paul Bunyan trophy, and there's like a legitimate looking homeless dude like next to the, like you make it seem like, oh, like there's a really good strong group of students at some young Spartans, and they just paid some homeless guy. He then has piss jug next to his little cot there. He probably made $5 for that, and they gave him a bottle of Boone's Farm. Like, come on, man, you guys got to step up the game.
That's not high quality like a Chameleon.
No.
I don't think they have the budget for the same budget as the Stanley Cup with the hammers with the white gloves.
The gloves.
With the white gloves,
Yeah.
What if they did give that guy some?
He had gloves on, but they didn't have fingertips.
Yeah.
Yeah, they polish the Spartan trophy while they're there, just give it a nice little shine year
With
round.
what?
Is that a
Whatever they
euphemism?
have. Yeah, whatever they have.
Polish the Spartan trophy.
Everyone has to do it.
Sounds like
all
we're
right.
getting into some hazing here.
There's no such thing as hazing, right, Mike? No such.
We didn't
such
haze.
things.
That's not why we were kicked
The
off.
the fraternity brother here on the call.
Yeah, we didn't haze, man. We did not haze.
Okay.
It's just, new. It's just team building.
All right,
That's
Joe.
it
Why
is.
don't you give us your top moments?
Okay. So I'll start with my number 3. This is it's not a knock, but I think it was episode 2 prior to me joining the show. I think you guys recorded 2 in a row, and the second episode it got a little. EJ mentioned it earlier today, a little slurry. So I think that was I didn't. There was no slurring after I came in, so I kind of wrangled you guys, held everyone accountable.
We got really tuned up. Well, you know, you do the first episode, right, and then you have the second one, and you gotta keep drinking. Yeah, we got pretty tuned up.
So I think that was fun to listen to. And I've also witnessed many times the slurring in person, so it's fun to imagine just being there and what is coming out of his face.
Did we get a visual of the EJ walk?
Yeah, essentially.
And then number two, I think number two for me was the episode with the $5 bits of broken chair, just because the charity that's involved, and it holds a place in my heart as one of the most important trophies, or probably the most important trophy when it comes to that kind of stuff. So really cool trophy, and that was a fun one for me.
Yeah. I almost put that one on my list, but I thought you might have it, so I
got you covered.
Yeah.
And then number one was I think someone else might mention as well, but when Adam from New Holland came on, and we talked all of their spirits and dragon's milk and all that stuff. So maybe we can have him on some other time to talk some other new stuff. I know they had some new releases come out too that he was able to hint at, but couldn't really talk about. So maybe we can highlight some of that stuff on our story or something. But yeah, that's my top one, kind of getting educated from a boozer.
Yeah, that is live now. Some of the stuff that he talked about.
Yeah. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm talking to him, trying to get my hands on some. So if I do,
we'll kind enough to share that that dragon's milk.
The white. Yeah, that was pretty good.
That stuff was real good.
Yeah, that was delicious. Okay, I'll go next. So my top moments, I guess I didn't really think of these in like a numbered order. They're kind of all, close to each other.
How can you rank? Like how
you just said Texas was number one.
I didn't say like I didn't really say I was gonna rank them. I just said my top moments. I don't know. They're just kind of grouped together. Not surprisingly, two of these have to do with Mike uncontrollably laughing. So we'll start off with Mike laughing at multiple dick jokes, and they weren't really supposed to be dick jokes. They're just people named Dick.
Listen, but when your name is Dick Locker and dicked out, I mean, what do you want me to do?
I just watched Why Him, the movie with James Franco, and that just brought me back to dicking, double dicking.
I've never seen that movie.
Did you borrow my magazine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, that's the one with Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that worth a watch?
Absolutely.
I got some time off here.
Franco's pretty good in it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Just kind of crazy in it.
I'm gonna give that a shot.
Heck, dude.
But listen, I mean, when you see Dick Locker, like when you see him and you see his name,
it's Loker.
It's Locker.
But see this is kind of where that
Mark Loker. Friend of the pod.
Are you saying pan? There's two M's.
So yes. So my next moment, I guess if you want to call it number two, was also Adam joining, because I feel like of all of our guests, even including the two today, which you guys will get to know, I feel like that was like the different guest. I guess my coworker too. It was just nice to have someone that was like professional, and it was cool to actually like really dive into something.
We're not professional on the show.
Are you a professional drink? I don't understand.
I'm a professional drinker. That's probably for damn sure. Yeah, I think I can get licensed in that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very cool to just actually like hear about new things, because again, like I think along with myself, before Joe's bachelor party, actually, I had no idea that New Holland actually brewed or distilled alcohol, like liquor. I just know them because they're beers. So
he brought stuff to the bachelor party, didn't he?
Yeah, I had the gin in my house for forever, and I don't like gin. I
should have saved Knickerbocker, right?
Yeah.
So
that's not the only thing I learned at Joe's bachelor party.
So it's just cool to have him come on and talk about it, because it's just so knowledgeable. And so I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a great addition to that segment that week. And then the top moment for me is also an episode 2, Beauty. And it was one of those things where, as you know, my responsibility for the pod is to really try and keep things moving. And that day, that episode, there was just no moving Mike from laughing at the bucket and the old oaken bucket and the idea. I tried to move him along, and then it turned into me laughing at him laughing. It was just one of those moments.
Listen, when you really like there's some situations that when you really break it down in your head and think about, try to put yourself in the other person's shoes think about the logistics of this whole thing. How did it come to be that two doctors, not only like these are folks that have like, they're well respected, right? And they have years of education and they're well respected in the community. How did it come to be that they decided that the best object to represent their state, their home state, many thousands of fine people, and a football tradition, how does it came to be that they decided a bucket was the best thing to represent that? That just, it blows my mind. The possibilities are endless.
And we might get into this argument, later on with the bracket, but as you kind of pointed out about the Cyhawk Trophy, maybe having a doctorate and being so well respected is not the qualifications you want in a person.
You just gotta be Triple H. You gotta be the game, the cerebral assassin. That's what you need, baby. You just gotta be pounding some Schlitz at the bowling alley. And that is the heart of college football. Not in the ivory towers in some, establishment at the university. No, it's down the bowling alley.
Not Indy, where they have the Big Ten offices.
Blue collar solid, baby.
Or you're just five friends that are currently on a podcast that create a trophy for a rivalry that to be determined. We're going to do it, guys. Idea. I'm ready to do it.
We're gonna.
Any way we can get a Chameleon type trophy?
Ooh, a little Red Bull. Red Bull looking to sponsor.
I got this trophy.
That's
not for much longer, Doyle.
Hope Nick's not a listener.
that
More importantly, I hope he's not watching on YouTube.
That's right.
I bet he's sleeping right now.
His wife locked him in his room
with his door open.
Yes.
Underwear on. Okay, got it.
Is that the Douglas now?
I don't know.
It's still Robbie. He hasn't given it to me because he's Robbie. But Robbie, if you're listening,
Robbie's not listening either.
You need to send that trophy out to Joe.
I can get him here in 5 minutes.
Is he is he welcome at your house?
At my house?
Yeah. Looks like everyone's welcome there.
Yeah, he's welcome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for welcoming me too.
You're welcome.
I feel very welcome.
Yeah, you're just welcoming everyone. We appreciate that.
You got it.
All right, Chris, as a listener, I'm excited to hear your guys' opinion, yours and Doyle's. What was kind of things that stuck out for you as a listener?
I got two. The first one would be Mike's infamous hangover episode
where we didn't drink after a wedding, right?
I think it was the Shillelagh episode.
I think that was it. I remember that episode very well, so that stands to reason I wasn't drinking.
That was a rough one for Mike. Couldn't name was it the three quarterbacks from Alabama?
Yeah, that was a tough time for me. That was a really bad day. Yeah. That was
a little rough. So that whole episode I think was one of my high points. And then the other one would have to be when I think it was the week after Miami almost beat Alabama. But
that was like the high point of the Miami season.
I don't know about that, man. Tyler Van Dyke overall is the high point, but
no, last week was the high point. I take that back. Last week was the high point.
Well,
the off week?
Yeah, Cristobal. Higher than Cristobal.
Yeah,
absolutely the high point.
Yeah,
I mean, last week I said it, but I'm curious to get your guys' opinion. But like, how pissed is Brian Kelly when he like shows up and does his fake Southern accent, like, jerk off bullshit.
My family.
And then Mario Cristobal comes up and starts speaking Spanish. Like, Brian Kelly might have a hit spot out for Mario Cristobal.
He's a man of the people.
He's from here. He knows how to roll here.
Well, as Brian Kelly's pretty much from Louisiana, didn't you hear him? I mean, that guy, he eats Satiran's rice. Like, come on.
Did you guys see the video of him with the recruit with the 360 video?
God. Yes.
Yeah.
Really getting those recruits, coach.
Right, man. He's a man of the people.
Dude, I know that high school kids, like high school males' brains are not fully developed yet, but how do you think that guy's cool? Like, how do you look at that video and be like, I want to go play for that guy?
You don't. You say you want to go to LSU for other reasons.
Make money.
You deal with and you deal with him. or you like his assistants. You probably don't even like talk to him, right? You know, I feel
That's
like
right.
he's a guy that probably doesn't even go to people's houses. He just
Right.
like, you know, sends them that stupid video.
Yeah, so those are my two favorite points. The Mike hangover episode and just everyone shitting on Miami, which I'll say is back now. Miami is back.
Who's wait, who's more back, Texas or Miami?
Oh,
Miami.
We will see.
100% Miami.
Listen, Texas is back every year, boys. Let me see when Miami's back every year.
Doyle?
Look, anyone who wants to come to Miami game, I live like, I don't know, half an hour from where they play.
Miami.
Ooh.
There you go, listeners. We will dox Doyle and give you all of his information.
We'll
Doyle's house.
Upload his address onto the story.
Please,
I knew there's a reason we didn't send EJ a Christmas card.
Wrong. It's actually on my fridge. So.
All
right. So, what was your top moments, Doyle?
So, I along with most of the panel, loved the Adam episode. Hearing about the brewing and everything that's going on there was really great. It was a great episode. But since everyone said that, I'm gonna throw a dislike in here instead. The MSU game. There was a noticeable bias in the social media posting towards MSU. It turned me off. That was a turn off right away.
It wasn't just social media. It was in our notes for the show as well.
Noticeable bias. But a positive on the social media. I've never been much of a sports bettor. It only became legal in Florida in November. And you guys do a lot of kind of hive minding, the sports betting there. And I like, as I'm getting more into it, well, not anymore since Florida got rid of it for a second, but yeah. Yeah. As I get more into it, it's nice to see how you guys think about things, because you guys have been doing it for a lot longer. And kind of looking for the good odds and the kind of sure things like, MSU at UM.
Waiting for it is a slippery slope.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
I already saw, so like, because I bet on every bowl game.
You bet on everything.
Yeah, well, college football,
women's curling.
What's wrong with women?
Where I already had I had a parlay pulled together for today. And I know that the only game I'm going to miss is BYU. I because that parlay is already dead, but I know that my other bets are going to cash. I know it for sure. It's just BYU is going to be the one that screws me.
I have a nice little parlay too, and I'm 1 for 1.
Isn't that game over?
Yeah, BYU lost.
But he's saying when it's all said and done.
Only game you
yeah. I'm actually, I think I'm right at 500 so far on bowl games. So.
Yeah, Doyle, to your point, betting's obviously been new for me too, because prior to it becoming legal on like sporting apps, I mean, I really only bet a couple of times when I was like in Vegas, or I had like a coworker who has a house in Vegas, so he had frequently would go and then would go to a sports book and bet some things for me. But typically I just bet like futures, like who's going to win a championship and stuff like that. It wasn't really like game by game. So when it was legal last year, it was really fun because I think it legalized, Joe, was around like March Madness. Is that when we first kind of started to dive in?
Was it? I know I got big into like NBA right around the finals. Was that like?
Yeah.
I think it was right after March Madness, maybe.
Yeah, because we did.
Or, no, I think it was March.
We did terrible in March Madness, and then
NBA kind of made a comeback.
Yeah, we did much better in the NBA, but it's fun because that was something where like March Madness bet a lot of like the overs and unders, which is nerve wracking, and spreads, and then like the NBA. I know Joe does this in live bets, but typically in the NBA, what I was most successful with, especially in the playoffs, was prop bets, like players scoring so many points. So it's just kind of been a learning thing for me too. Like I bet different sports differently.
It's a great feeling when you do a prop bet and that player gets hurt in the first quarter. Right?
Yeah, that happened a couple of times.
Anthony Davis is not getting any of my bets ever again.
I like it because you when you bet on games, like you pay more attention to them. So it gives you more, it gives you skin in the game. So
even if you don't care about that game, it gets you kind of intrigued and you care more. And like, I agree. 100%.
Honestly, it's so funny down here because obviously it's such a big political issue. In Florida. Sorry. Yes, I live in Florida, in Miami. I live 30 minutes from the Stadium, as I said. But it's such a big political. Campus. It is not on campus. It's where the Dolphins play.
He's a sophomore.
I wish, man. The girls here. Whew.
Wow.
Anyway.
Your wife
Kristen apparently is not a listener.
Kristen's not a listener.
Anyway.
Let's not kid ourselves. None of our wives.
Yeah, I see a lot of girls. I see a lot of guys too.
But it's so weird. It's such a big political issue. Like on the anti-gambling side, it's all about morality and out-of-state money coming in here and trying to suck out the money. And it's just like, no, it's like a more fun way to be more interactive with the sports you're watching. So there's nothing like immoral about this.
Why not make money on it? People are going to do it
right.
No matter what.
I'll say this. So, in Western PA, and, half of the people on this pod can attest to it, like malls are dying around here. Right. But the Westmoreland Mall by me, actually just put in a Pittsburgh Live. So even though we're about 40 minutes outside Pittsburgh, Live Casino came in and established Pittsburgh Live. They ripped out the Bonton and they put in a casino. It is gorgeous. There's a Guy Fieri restaurant in the thing. I went over there to pick up all the shit that I need to make this Chameleon, and it was packed. And I mean, the mall was packed, the casino was packed, the movie theater due to Spider-Man was packed. EJ, I'm actually going tomorrow to try to avoid spoilers, but like it was just so odd. Like I like, my favorite thing about the holiday season is like the hustle and bustle of it. So like having the casino there was kind of cool too, because like, that mall very well could have died off, but with the casino being there now, I think it's great. I think it's a good money maker. Like
think about all the money lost from COVID, like all these businesses that shut down and people that are struggling. Like that's just an easy way to make some of it back.
Well, yeah, and if your business is struggling, you just go and put some money on bread and just keep going.
Put your retirement on bread or on Bama.
A less, sexy kind of viewpoint. State governments are losing a lot of money because people aren't buying things, so they're losing a lot of sales tax revenue.
Yeah,
you could be getting that back on the gambling tax, right?
Oh,
this is a way for states to make tons of money.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, people are going to try to do it no matter what. Like, just let them do it.
Especially the people that live close to the border that can just like hop over the border and bet. Like even here, like in Maryland, there were issues with it before. And sometimes my phone wouldn't register.
You still can't gamble in Maryland.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
MGM just opened in Maryland.
So what they did,
you can't do online sports betting.
Oh,
not yet. They haven't gotten online yet, but they did officially get a book.
But it's like, that's so ridiculous. Like how stupid is that? Because I can literally drive a mile over the border to Virginia and bet. Why people are going to do it? Like they're in a place like that. It's so easy to just cross the border and bet because you're doing it all the time.
Yeah. So I feel like the dams kind of just like burst on sports gambling and on like legalizing marijuana. I feel like there's so many like states now that are benefiting from it, like Doyle said, like with taxes and stuff that and it's just not as culturally of a stigma as it was, say, 20 years ago or whatever. So
the money that Florida is not making in selling COVID masks, they can make up from betting.
Look, we like to give our citizens here the monoclonal antibody treatment. It's really funny because it's funny because I've got all my family in New York. I'm from Buffalo, New York. And my parents, for a long time, it was hard for them to find like a same day COVID testing center. But in Florida, ever since I moved here, which is, 18 months ago about, there's like 5 or 6 same day testing centers, that I could get in line and have the results within 24 hours, by my house.
Because they're just saying, yeah, you're good.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
We're testing. Yep.
Like the GIF
Good to
that
go.
the security guy that's like wanding people into the stadium, and he's just
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah. Is now a good
Right.
time to announce the Whiskers and Whiskey sports betting app?
Oh my gosh, I freaking would, dude.
Hey, listen, JoJo's had some ideas, so don't count them out here. we have some ideas. I don't know if any are going to be as grand as that, but we'll see. We are pretty experienced bettors, and we have some issues with current betting apps. So stay tuned.
So I didn't mean to devolve into a 20-minute discussion
That's
on
what we
gambling
do best, baby. That's what.
But
gambling, COVID, and weed.
One other thing I wanted to mention, being from New York, New York's not a big college state, so there's not a lot of emphasis placed on college football at all. It's really about the professional teams, the Bills, Giants, and Jets, obviously.
In Corsica.
Corsica for 1 week of the year, and
Yes.
and no one else cares about it.
No,
and even
schools.
then, it's just like the central New York. It's just outside of central New York, no one cares about Corsica. But it was great to see and hear from you guys about how connected and what the college sports in the Big Ten obviously is the focus of the show, what it means to you guys, and that helped me get kind of more involved with or pay more attention to college football for myself. So just hearing your guys' takes on everything kind of focused me on what's going on in the sport generally. So I really appreciated that part.
Thanks, man. I mean, I've said it on the podcast before, and I really mean it. I think college football is the best form of the sport. It's my favorite thing to watch. I will literally watch any game. I had UAB and BYU on her, and I absolutely will bet every game. But I mean, it's just like it's so fun because it means so much. Like it's so much more than just a game. And I love it. I love the culture around it. Like if you're into it and you love it, as I hope everyone here and all of our listeners are, like, I mean, it's fun. If you're not into it, like, Doyle, I'm glad that you've gotten into it. This has been a good way to help get you more invested in it because it is fun, man. Like, I mean, there's nothing like the first Saturday in September when I turn on my TV and I hear, Big and Rich, we're coming to your city, and I'm watching game day for the first time. Like, it's just, well,
so and
pure.
it's one of those things where, especially for a lot of the country, they don't have professional teams, or you're not from like a big city or near a big city. So college sports just dominate those. Like it can take a middle of nowhere town and give them something. Like, Nebraska is as bad as Nebraska's been the last 10 years. I mean, they sell out their 90,000 person stadium every week. Doesn't matter how bad they are, because that's just what the Cornhuskers mean to them. And it's just like, I feel like college football does that all around the country at, multiple different Power 5, Group of 5. Like I feel like some of those towns, like some of the best towns, are college towns, and I think a lot of those come with football.
I think we're getting to a really exciting part of the college football history. Like this next chapter needs to be super exciting. There's a lot of things that are happening with, the SEC expanding, adding Texas and Oklahoma, SEC versus the Alliance, potentially, expansion of the playoff. Deion Sanders and Jackson State, like what he's doing for HBCUs is incredible. And snatching the first overall pick, like or not first overall pick, but like number one recruit in this. Yeah, essentially the first overall pick, number one recruit in the class. Like that's and what NIL money is gonna do for
I think even bigger.
Half of that was Barstool.
Yeah.
No, I honestly think that Deion
sponsorships
just did it. Like Deion wanted to coach at Florida State. Well, apparently there was some bad blood there, so he said, "All right," and he did that. I think despite them, I'm sure that
Will coach
chipping in some NIL money, like no doubt, but like
Bill coach. Essentially, that the Florida State shouldn't be too upset about that kid. It's picking there because give it like 1 to 2 years, and they're both going to be at Florida State. Deion and that kid.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. This could be the first ship that falls into. Like, I get that. Like, maybe for this kid, like, it's not great for the pros because you're not doing like the Bama thing where you are a receiver going against an NFL DB every day of practice, right? Like, but this and Deion Sanders, I think he can do it now, where he can be like, hey, you see what we're building here, right? Get some more kids. If he gets one NFL prospect DB, like a high school kid that's a top recruit, to come in and go against this kid, and then you start building on that. I mean, what he did at Jackson State in his second year, incredible. And who knows? I mean, he could very well end up leaving there and maybe going to Florida State or maybe going somewhere else. But
or Jacksonville.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the good things about college football this year was just the parity in, having, I think almost every week a top 10 or top 15 team, had a loss this year. So I think that was, and this is like the first year that I can really remember where, you couldn't predict. I go back to like Clemson. Everyone thought Clemson was basically a shoo-in for the national or for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
Ohio State,
exactly. So
yeah,
I think we're really starting to see.
I don't think we heard EJ. What was that?
Ohio State. We kind of talked about it like all year long, where the playoff was just getting really boring when you had the same three schools, and then the fourth school rotated, a team that wasn't really going to win. And then the other times that, you had a really strong team, it was, an SEC West team or an SEC team beating Alabama. So
but maybe the no money and stuff will shift that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
You're fine.
No, you're right, Chris. I mean, and we talked about this on the pod too, is that every week, like, it was like, oh, who knows what can happen? But like, we started getting further and further towards the end of the season. It's like, man, I still really don't know what can happen. It was pretty clear, I think, in championship weekend, but there was still a lot of doubt. I mean, had Oklahoma State won, who knows what would have happened there. And
also, I feel like the beginning of the year was one of the rare, I don't know, maybe I just haven't been paying that close of attention outside of like Michigan State. This year, I really paid a lot more attention to college football as a whole. But I feel like those first couple of weeks, typically you don't get too many non-conference, right? You'll get a couple big games that are on non-conference, and the majority of the programs, just because the playoff, you can't lose more than one game and get in, right? So a lot of teams don't take that risk at the beginning of the year, and this year it just felt different. I felt like those first 4 weeks, there were so many good non-conference, and they put some conference games up at the beginning of the year, and it was just feel like a lot more fun. And I hope an expansion on the playoff encourages more of that, because it's just, I feel like it was better for everyone. It was better for the teams that got to play good competition early. It was good for all the fans that got to watch good games. Like, I hope that continues, and the incentives, for those teams continue the right way.
Yeah, it was, we were very blessed. I think we said every week we were pretty blessed with like the line. There was no like down week. There was no week where I was like, oh man.
There were a few where we thought it was going to be kind of down, and it turned out to be exciting.
Yeah. We did have a week where we thought it was going to be goofy, or we thought it was going to be like down and being really goofy, like just all kinds of crazy upsets.
As evidenced by your Barstool balance.
Yes, as evidenced by my Barstool balance. Yeah. Which is doing okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, when you bet your whole balance on all of the bowl games before Christmas, it's kind of hard to tell where you stand. Am I up? Am I down? Who knows? So,
all right. Well, why don't we, since we kind of started the ball rolling here on talking college football, why don't we get to our bracket here, the belle of the ball? Let's decide which trophy in season 1 was the best trophy. So I think the easiest way, because it's going to be too hard to visualize, I think, for listeners, they're not going to have access to, I guess we're going to post it, the bracket. So I recommend, if you are listening and you find it hard to kind of visualize what the bracket looks like, we'll make sure to post it. But I think instead of me first going through how we numbered them, I think it's smarter just to go through the matchups and let you know what the numbers are. So we do, the bracket itself is 1 through 16. So very like college basketball, March Madness
games. We have 18,
and then we have 2 play-in games. One will go into the 16 seed, and that's where we'll start. And then the other one goes into, I believe, the 13 seed. Yes. So we'll get into that.
Do we want to give all the matchups right up front, or do we just go through? Give the kids some suspense, you know?
Like, let's give them some suspense. Jeez.
There you go, buddy.
I can already hear that.
There we go.
Gotta keep the listeners listening, right?
Today, Junior. Yes. So what I'll do for everyone, and I told the guys on the pod here beforehand, but for you listeners, I am going to give you the matchup. So the 2 schools, the trophy, and then I'll give a description of the trophy just to give you a reminder of what it looked like. And then I'll give you very quickly just a little bit of the history, just because we know there was 18 trophies and it's hard to remember all the way back, 16 weeks ago. So I'll just give you guys a quick history a couple bullet points to help you remember. And then what I think we should do is just if any one of you 4 want to have a strong feeling about it and want to start, give an opinion on who you think should win, and rebuttals as necessary, and then we'll vote and advance a team on and move on to the next matchup. Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me. Yep. Can we before we get into the bracket? I have a question. Can we digress for a second? Can we also, since we've talked, this show is based on football, and it's also based on booze. Can we also give a shout out to Whiskey Joe and all the great drinks that he's given us this year, and maybe give our top drink from this season each, because he's done a hell of a job, I think, pulling all this together. And I want to take a minute here and just, everyone can give a drink, but for me, I just want to say the whiskey sour is maybe one of the most, making that drink, I was so proud of myself because I was very intimidated by the egg whites to like that whole process, but it turned out great. I never liked whiskey sours, but thanks to you, Joe, I now do enjoy whiskey sours, and I've made them for myself since then. So thanks, buddy. I appreciate the hell out of you.
I'm glad you liked it, but I will say not all whiskey sours are created equal. So keep that in mind if you're trying more, though.
I absolutely will.
Yeah, what I'll say is on that same note, I would say my favorite was definitely, so that was the Templeton sour that we did for the Cyhawk that had the egg. And then I can't remember if it wasn't the Detroit Old Fashioned. I want to believe it was maybe the Beer Drinkers Old Fashioned.
We did the Dragon's Milk Old Fashioned.
Yeah, that was,
it's on the story. Let me see.
But the one where we used, instead of a sour mix, that we used like the fresh juice. One was another, because I do like whiskey sours, and that was definitely one of my favorite.
I think you're thinking the winter whiskey sour. It was bourbon, lemon juice, fresh OJ, simple syrup, and orange.
Yep, that was it. So I definitely liked the Templeton sour because I do like the egg finish, and then that winter whiskey was definitely my favorite.
I enjoyed when Joe talked about the pairings for the Boilermakers. I appreciated that.
Oh yeah,
what whiskeys go well with what beers? Yes.
Well, I'm glad you did,
because that's something that I definitely never really thought about. I just usually grab,
I thought about it today when I was at the store getting everything for the Chameleon, and I got I got some scotch, and Joe's recommendation was what was it? Smoky whiskey with, was it a stout?
Yeah, the stout with like a peaty or smoky whiskey. Yeah.
So I appreciated that.
So for me, there was I can't remember what the drink was, but there was one where it was Kool-Aid.
Adult Kool-Aid.
That's
it.
Doyle loves his Kool-Aid.
And I remember going to the store because I had never heard of green apple Kool-Aid, and I could not imagine it tasting good with tequila. And I could not find green apple Kool-Aid, so I still can't imagine it tasting good.
If I find some, I'll send it to you.
Please. But I don't usually. I listen to you guys on my way to work, so I usually don't drink with you.
That's for legal reasons. He really does.
Right. And I'm like if I'm drinking, I'm drinking bourbon straight, on the rocks maybe.
That's my guy.
Don't waste any volume on mixers, right?
Yeah. Like this drink that's all mixers.
Hell
we're
yeah,
drinking today.
Doyle.
Well, not all mixers, but there's a lot of alcohol in there too.
I mean, it's all of this is alcohol.
They're all alcoholic.
Besides the Red Bull. The Red Bull's a mixer.
That's true.
But
well, I'm glad you guys liked it. So thank you, and thanks, Mike, for your kind words. For me, I throughout this whole every segment each week, I try not to just. I know it's whiskers and whiskey, but you can only do whiskey like neat or whiskey on its own on the rocks so many times. I mean, we could try different whiskeys every week, but that gets very expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah. So for me, my favorite was the bootleg cocktail. That was, I think it was Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
And I forget who else, but it was the bootleg mix was kind of what made it unique. And I have it up here actually. The bootleg mix it's like lime juice or lemonade. And you put in mint with it. So it's kind of like a mojito / whiskey sour. It's kind of a mix, like a hybrid. And it was delicious.
Caipirinha.
Yeah. That's what it kind of had, like whiskey sour, mojito, caipirinha kind of vibe to it.
I know how much you love a caipirinha.
It's my favorite drink. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So this summer we'll have to make some.
It's a very good summer drink.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sorry to diverse there, but
no, that was a good call. Yeah, and that just makes us think about what we're going to do in the future, because obviously that was, I think, a very fun segment for us, because I'm not like a mixologist. I usually don't mix things together, but I did enjoy trying to do that kind of thing, like the wine float and the egg yolk, and it was, or the egg whites, not the yolk.
It definitely
try with the yolk.
That's for damn sure. So yeah, try.
And none of them were like super difficult. I don't think any of us really struggled with them. So
it's intimidating when you look at it, but when you do it,
or when you see the finished product. Yeah.
Okay. Well then let's get right into this bracket. So we will start off with our first play-in game. So this play-in game is going to be for the number 16 seed. So the first trophy in this matchup is the Freedom Trophy. And the Freedom Trophy was, if you guys remember, is played between Nebraska and Wisconsin. And I'll give you a quick description. So essentially it was a pretty big wooden base that was, I don't know, maybe about 1.5 feet.
Huge
and
base.
It just has on the front of it, it has a plaque that has the scores and everything. It says Freedom Trophy, and then the top part of it had a stadium, and one side of the stadium was designed to look like Camp Randall, Wisconsin's, the other one, the Memorial Stadium for Nebraska, and then coming out of the stadium was a massive American flag.
Texas car dealership flag. Yep.
Yes. So that is what the Freedom Trophy looked like. And just a quick reminder of what it was, the history behind it. So it was created in 2014, and that was in response to the Big Ten realignment. And that was when both schools got put into the Big Ten West and became regular foes. And the ideas came from the ADs of each school. And the hope was to celebrate both schools' patriotic ties, was kind of their line of thinking on the design of the trophy and the name of it. So that's the Freedom Trophy.
I know I wasn't high on it at the beginning, but like,
why don't you just wait?
More I look at it.
Okay, well, okay. why don't you're gonna have your chance here.
I'll wait a while.
So then the governor's victory bell is what it is matching up against, and so the governor's
like the picture I chose.
Victory bell is played between Penn State and Minnesota, and so the description of it again is it's a smaller wooden base that's kind of like not a trapezoid, and what it has in the middle is cut out of wood. The wood's cut out, and it has a bell there, and then at the top it has a plaque that describes what the name of the trophy is and who, when it was created and who it's played between. And it was created in 1993 when Penn State joined the Big Ten. And the reason why it was against Minnesota was that was their first Big Ten game in the league. So the governors of each state came up with the idea to commemorate the game moving forward. So that is our play-in matchup: the governor's victory bell against the Freedom Trophy for the 16 seed. What do we got, fellas? What do you guys think?
I mean, I said it. I think I like the Freedom Trophy the more that I look at it. Like, I know it's harsh on it, but I think I'm really gonna like this trophy in years to come. It's huge. For me, size is big. I love it. There's something so endearing about the governor's victory about the fact it breaks all the time. It's just so cute. It tries. Yeah. What do you guys think? Like,
I'm kind of torn. I'm not a big fan of either of these, so it's hard to. It's kind of a toss up for me.
Let's get dog walked by the number 1 seed either way.
Yeah. So yeah, it really doesn't matter. I really didn't like the bell. I don't like the freedom. I'll go bell just because it's little different, even though I don't really like it.
Yeah, but it's not a functional bell. We talked about that too.
That's true. But the freedom, it's just a standard box with a little flag on top. I don't know. I'll go bell, but I'm not. Mike, you could probably change my mind, but I'll go bell.
I'm gonna go freedom, but I want to hear what the other guys think too.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, as a guest, I'll go with the the Freedom Trophy with Mike. I like the girth of it, the sheer size.
Oh yeah, baby.
I do like the bell, but yeah, I'm gonna go size here. I'm a size queen.
Doyle.
I mean, I don't like trophies that kind of try to tie America in and try and like.
You don't like America?
You know, I love America.
No, noted.
Love America, the best country in the world. But you know, it's a rivalry trophy. You don't need America. If America is what you're bringing to the rivalry trophy, your rivalry trophy is not that great.
Oh no, it's a little disingenuous, is what you're saying, right? Like
I'm saying that
it's
kind of leeching on
to. There needs to be something like right. You're just like leeching onto someone's brand here. Leeching onto the America brand. You got to bring something strong for yourself here. The bell, I love that it falls apart. You rip that thing apart in a celebration.
Everyone gets a piece.
So that's me. I'm on the bell.
So we're 2-2 right now, right?
It's up to our captain here.
All right, EJ.
All right. I mean, this is not even close for me. I really like the Freedom Trophy. I think what really does it for me is the top part of it. And I said this during the episode, was the fact that it's so detailed, and how I think both schools surprisingly had some really cool ties to veterans and America in general. And so that was cool, and I understand why it's the Freedom Trophy because of that. But I really like the design. The bottom part is what it is, just a wood. But the top part really does it for me. The design of both stadiums combined, and I like that Texas, car dealership flag.
Oh yeah,
something about it.
Yeah.
All right, so Freedom Trophy advances to play, and we'll just hit it right here. The number 1 seed, the heavy betting favorite. Floyd of Rosedale,
our big boy.
So listeners, I was gonna say viewers, it can be viewers and listeners, to give you guys a reminder of Floyd of Rosedale. So Floyd is a pig. He is a show pig, and the trophy itself is probably a 12-inch wooden base that has the various scores every year of the game, and then on top of it is a show pig, is Floyd himself. Trophy's about 100 pounds. It's a hefty boy. It was created in 1935, and originally the exchange was a real show pig, and that was to ease tensions stemming from the 1934 game, which was seen as potentially racial tensions based on what had happened to the Iowa running back in that game. And so the idea itself came from the governor of Minnesota as a way to kind of, like I said, ease those tensions in 1935. And then after the first year, they decided, exchanging real pigs every year was a bad idea. And that's when Floyd himself, the trophy that is currently standing, is from 1935. So that is up against the Freedom Trophy. Fellas, does anyone do we even need to?
It's EJ by a mile.
Well, Mike sounds like he might have something to say after hearing his last argument.
Doyle was gonna say something. Go for it, buddy.
So EJ, I can't remember, in the episode, did you discuss like what the Minnesota AG said about the Iowa governor's remarks? And
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So in the episode, it was, obviously the tensions were high, and once the game was played in Minnesota, when the alleged hits against the running back because of his race, and the fans' aggression. So when the next year was going to be played in Iowa, the Iowa fans were definitely ready to attack, and so it was a whole ordeal. Both ads really went after each other, or not ads, governors, and then finally they made the joke about which pig from each state is the better pig, and how it'd be a deal to get a Minnesota pig over an Iowa pig.
So I did a little digging today on Wikipedia, very, very light digging. And I saw that the Iowa AG said that if the questionably racist, attacks on the running back kept up, that there might be the fans in the stands wouldn't stand for it.
Yeah.
And that the Minnesota AG accused him of inciting a riot.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I thought to myself, man, he would have made a really good impeachment manager. That's all. I just wanted you to set up my joke.
Sorry,
but you didn't. I had to do it myself. Fine.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. But
it's
yes,
okay.
It was quite the history.
I figured I could use this time, since we all agree that Floyd is incredible and he's going to win this matchup.
Yeah.
So.
Hogs for world peace. Like that was going to be one of my favorite moments from the series, is that like the fact that pig can help solve racial relations is incredible. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's Floyd.
Chris?
Yeah, no, I said Floyd by a mile. No,
Joe?
no Bart Harley Jarvis.
I mean, I didn't like the Freedom Trophy before. You can't really go up against Floyd, so it's Floyd.
All right, that's 5-0. Floyd advances to the next round, and he will be facing the winner in our 8-9 matchup here, and that is between the George Jewett Trophy and the Land Grant Trophy. So let me give you guys a reminder. So George Jewett, the 8 seed, it is the trophy played between Michigan and Northwestern, and what it looks like is a figure. So you have the platform itself. It's a smaller trophy, and the platform itself has 4 sides, and each side has one has Michigan description, and then Northwestern description, and just a little bit about George himself on the other sides. And at the top is a picture of, or a statue of him, and the statue itself has medical books. It has a football, just kind of, it's a really good encapsulation of him himself and who he was. And the trophy itself he can face either
swivels.
side. Yeah, swivels. Depending on who wins, they can face him to that side. And it was created this year in 2021, again, to commemorate the life of George Jewett. And just a reminder, he was the first African-American football player to play at both schools.
Before you proceed, I do have a little edit here.
Okay.
I learned this during the game, and I don't know if we talked about it or not. It's George Hewitt.
Hewitt? See,
yeah, that's how they said it on the broadcast.
Yeah, after you said that, I went back to because I wanted to make the edit the next episode, and then I heard, I think it was hard to find people to even say his name, and I think I found one person that said Jewett too, so it's probably Hewitt.
Yeah, I think Gus. I think it was Gus. I would assume they
Gus.
did the research and they knew what they're talking about, but I don't know. That's how they said in the broadcast. So
you just never
sorry,
know.
Mr. Sorry, George.
Dr. George.
Butchering your name.
Dr. George.
Sorry, maybe
Dr.
I'm just
George.
saying. I'm saying it in the Brian Kelly accent, just Jewett, but. And the idea itself came from both schools. Okay, so that's the George Hewitt. He is going up against the 9 seed, which is the Land Grant Trophy. That is played between Michigan State and Penn State. How do we even begin to describe this thing?
Where do you want to start?
It is about 6 feet tall. It has a pee-wee football figurine that the kind of guy you get on your trophies is a pee-wee player on top. And it also has a figurine of the Nittany Lion statue and the Spartan statue that are both on each on their respective campuses. It has a picture of both of the school's like main buildings, like their main halls, their administrative, like their old main buildings. And it also has a black and white picture of those two schools or those two buildings as well, but on one card itself.
And it has ornate shelving.
It does have ornate
floating
shelving,
shelves.
A textbook butt joint.
Are those IKEA?
So let me just say this.
Hold on. And then that's on one side. On the other side, it has a list of
there's so much going on with this trophy.
The winners.
So
and
with a premium wood stain too.
Yes.
And
that's
premium
true.
Wood
that is
stain.
true. It looks like a cherry.
So
I wouldn't say cherry.
No,
Mike, is this going to be our
wood expert here?
No, it looks
Joe
like
is the wood expert. I don't think it's cherry though.
I don't know what it is. It looks like it's a dark something.
It's got some red in it.
I got mine highlighted. It looks a little darker. Yeah, I don't know.
So
rich
I love this matchup because.
Well, can I give just a quick
go ahead.
History, and then you can start us off. I know you love this trophy.
Go
So it was created in 1993 when Penn State joined the Big Ten, and the two schools were designated as permanent rivals, and were slated to play each other every year because of that designation. And also they play each other every year at the end of the year. So that was kind of the impetus to have a trophy. And the idea of the trophy came from the former legendary Spartans coach. Not at the time, he was already well retired, George Perlis. So he came up with this wacky idea. But okay. So Mike, go ahead.
Let me just say this.
The 8-9.
I love this matchup because you have two trophies that are trying to capture a lot of information into the trophy. One is, George Hewitt has done a lot of things in his life. In the episode, we talked about all his a laundry list of
accomplishments.
He's maybe the most accomplished man that America, besides John D. Rockefeller. This guy has done it all. And then you have so much history there, and same with Michigan State and Penn State, being the first land grant colleges, they had a lot to cover, and it's just the dichotomy of the two ways in which they went about it is just because the George Hewitt Trophy is just so neatly packaged,
it's elegant, yeah,
and then the land grant trophy is a beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy, and in my heart, you can't beat that. So I love it so much. It's crazy. It's twisted.
I see the difference between them is one's a report in college in which you have to have a certain page limit, and the other one is when you get into the professional world and your bosses only can read 30 seconds of the document. It's the succinct version of it. I feel that's how
I was thinking it's the difference between high school and professional world. Where high school, you're just hey, look at all this shit. I got this clip art here, or junior high even. So
all right, so Mike, what's your vote?
Oh, land grant.
Okay.
Yeah. All respect to Dr. George, but yeah.
All right, Doyle, what's your thoughts here?
So in doing the background reading, the Wikipedia entry for this the land grant trophy features the words hodgepodge and unwieldy, and that is that trophy. I mean,
yes,
right. It is a hodgepodge of things. It's wonderful. And I also read in 2005, the Penn Staters actually crashed Sparty Watch, and I didn't know that.
To the bum.
And to me that sounded like a fight on Anchorman. Where you expect your rival to show up, and all of a sudden a whole bunch of rivals show up, and that's just great. So for me, it's a land grant trophy.
There are some connections, I think, to Anchorman with this. So the potentially Rich Mahogany, Sex Panther. What else? There's got to be some more on here.
Definitely. Joe, what's what do you think?
You guys might say I'm biased, but I'm going with George Hewitt. The dude was incredible, and I don't think we mentioned he did attend both schools. I thought that was really cool. I just can't get on board with this high school project that it looks like kids just glued it together. That's, I don't know. At least the bowling beer league guys had a presentable looking trophy. This is, I don't know. It's not for me.
It's endearing
Chris?
I'm gonna go Hewitt. I like,
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's on EJ again. I like the fact that it's reversible.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they incorporate academics into it with the books. So it's Hewitt.
Big
for me.
academia guy.
Yeah, Acco what? This is about football.
So
hey, there's a football in that trophy too.
I was really hoping that you were just going to bail me out on this, Chris. So I have two different opinions on this. I love the history and rivalry of Penn State, Michigan State. I've always, and I'm a Spartans fan, but I always enjoyed that game. I always hated Penn State. I love what the George Hewitt Trophy looks like much better, but obviously Northwestern and Michigan aren't rivals. It's not even like a game that you would ever turn on. So that really has me torn because I absolutely hate what the Land-Grant Trophy looks like. So
come on.
Seems like your
Come
mind
on.
made up.
Do it. I had a note. I had a note for George Hewitt. Is this even a rivalry? That's the only thing I wrote for this.
Yes.
Trophy. It's not even a rivalry.
Yeah.
That's true.
I will have to pick Land-Grant based on it just being a rivalry trophy. Like it just has a little bit more rivalry. Maybe in 10 years.
Well, but at the same time, neither of these games are rivals, like actual rivals.
Michigan State, Penn State
showed up and committed felonies on Michigan State campus.
Once.
I appreciate.
I would say.
Hold on, I'm be right back. I'm going to Chicago.
Penn State's probably second now behind Michigan, and like rivals. Obviously, everyone hates Ohio State and wants to beat Ohio State. I would say Notre Dame, but Notre Dame sucks and doesn't play the Big Ten anymore. So I would say I always look forward to Michigan State, Penn State, and like I said, it's our last game of the year. It's had some really good games. Okay, so on to now the 5-12 matchup in March Madness. This can be a tricky one to pick. There's usually those 12s that can upset
this one,
here.
I'm just peeking. It's gonna be tough.
So we have the number 5 seed is the Cy-Hawk Trophy, and the number 12 seed is the Heroes Trophy. So let me tell you guys about these again and remind you. So the Cy-Hawk Trophy is the in-state rivalry game between Iowa and Iowa State. So it has changed a few times over the years, but its current version, which is what we should be rating it on right now, is again about a foot block of wood for the base, and it just has on 2 of the sides it has the University of Iowa, the other side has the other 2 sides have Iowa State University, and when each team wins, they get their score and the date and everything on their side of the trophy. And then the centerpiece of it is it's like almost like a partition, it looks like, and the background,
it's a diorama. It's a diorama. It's a school diorama. Yes.
So the background of it has corn. It has the 2 mascots on either side, and it has a symbol of the state, like the shape of the state, and then a football at the top. So that's what that one looks like, and it was created in 19.
Can I push back on something?
What does Wikipedia have to say about this?
No,
I love the research, baby.
So can we not consider the first trophy, which was amazing, and the second trophy, which was a total abomination, in our judgment of the third trophy?
You can the history.
Okay.
Sure.
So yeah. So also, like, I mean, I have no stake in some of these, obviously, but some of them have multiple pictures. Some of them just have one.
Well, I had
getting some Michigan State vibes from this.
Hey, I made the document.
I understand.
I am biased.
Okay.
It is what it is, baby. If you think we're gonna talk about the Cy-Hawk Trophy, I'm not gonna show beer drinking, bowling, time traveling Triple H. You got another thing coming, my friend. Like that. I did this very on purpose. So.
Chris, what do you have there? What is that?
The drink.
Another Chameleon.
No, we need to take a break for another Chameleon, but I got some Our Dead Wee Beastie.
Ooh, you did show us that.
Yeah, a Scotch that I've been wanting to try for a while. I got today when I was at the store. So
we might take a break after this trophy so I can get another.
Yeah, we could.
Nice.
And just to sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to cut you off or dismiss you. Just so we all know, there's some gonna have more pictures or photos or history and others, but
I stacked.
Well,
the deck.
everyone, you should have these.
I played Candyland as a kid, dude.
You should have these pictures in your head.
Paul Bunyan better have some goddamn Wolverine pictures. Is all
it does. Oh, you'll like the one. You'll like it.
No, I mean the Cyhawks has such a colorful history. You can't just brush over the first two trophies.
Can't do it.
Sure. That's fair. And like I said, I have no skin in this.
I mean, to be fair, Mike Hill did brush over the second trophy, which does not appear on our sheet, which absolutely should appear on the sheet.
Yeah,
because it is so bad. So bad.
I should.
All right,
copy a picture,
guys. This is great conversation for when we're gonna vote.
Nice. All right.
I need to keep the list. I just need to
but
keep
what if you have something
listeners.
to say before the other people vote?
Let me. The descriptions.
I only said it because you said right off the top that we should only consider the third and final rendition of the trophy. I think is wrong.
I think.
All right, void it all. Let's redo it.
Yeah.
I think that this. The whole everything goes into this because there's going to be tiebreakers.
Right.
Everything goes into it.
Yeah, you need more than just.
It's a totality of the
circumstances. It's a comprehensive view of
the story.
Yes.
Some of them. Well, some of them are. Some of them aren't.
Okay, we're gonna see where that.
I mean,
that line of thinking is. I'm interested to see in a different trophy. Your guys' line of thinking with that and the argument.
I mean, we already saw it in the Land Grant Trophy versus the George Hewitt. I mean, the George Hewitt, objectively, much better looking trophy. Land Grant Trophy has so much else going on for it that it's better.
I thought
it didn't win, but it didn't win.
Dude, Land Grant Trophy is a beautiful, dark,
so
twisted
as
fantasy.
I guess I should have probably told our listeners at the beginning here that one of us is a lawyer, and now that the alcohol is coming through, you're probably able to.
We're
guess
getting
who
some
that
filibustering.
Is. Yeah. All right, so just a reminder that this trophy, the Cyhawk Trophy, was created in 1977 by a group of alums that we kind of talked about in a bowling beer league, and it was just a bunch of friends, and they did it to revitalize the rivalry and force the hand of the two schools to keep renewing the game, because at that point in time it was not being played very often. I think it was they had like a 60-year gap, and so that was kind of their effort to get it to play every year, and it was successful. So the 12 seed trophy is the Heroes Trophy. The Heroes Trophy is played between Iowa and Nebraska, and the Heroes Trophy looks more like a traditional I guess like championship trophy, where it is just really one big wooden base that kind of narrows towards the top, and at the centerpiece is just a football, and on the sides it has not only the insignia of both schools and the name of the trophy on the one side, it has scores on the other side, and then on one of the last, or on the third side, it has the heroes that the local heroes that they recognize every game from each state. And so this was created in 2011 when Nebraska joined the Big Ten, and the two teams were already playing each other a decent amount, so they decided to have this trophy for the rivalry game, and obviously have the hero aspect of it. Okay, so discussion, this 5-12. What do you guys think?
I mean, listen, the rich history of the Cyhawk, the time traveling Triple H, the beer leaguers bringing this rivalry to the forefront of Iowa culture, and then they come up with that complete abomination, as Doyle mentioned, then made it right, you know.
I was gonna say the who there is important. The who that made
the Iowa
the great
trophy association came up with the crap one, where the beer leaguers had a great one to begin with. The beer bowling leaguers had a great one to begin with.
It also goes to show funding or like finances don't necessarily mean a great trophy.
That's true.
Or a great podcast, although we are open for sponsorship.
Yeah, very much open for sponsorship. Very, very much so. And
all right, Mike. So
we're
welcome.
Like Chris said we're welcome. Any sponsorship
Grumman
is
matchup between it's brought to you by Northrop Grumman, the Cyhawk and the Freedom Trophy or the Heroes Trophy matchup. I do like the Heroes. I think it is a really solid trophy, and I love the picture of George Kittle and the number 97, the wrestler with cauliflower ear that will tear your freaking head off and piss down your throat. I think it's great, but it's walked into a buzzsaw. So it's Cyhawk for me by a mile.
Okay.
You just quote a few good men in that
Yeah,
little
sure did.
Nice. I recognize Aaron Sorkin as we discussed. Recognize it. Love it.
Chris?
I'm Team Cyhawk. I like the in-state rivalry. I like the detail on the Hawkeyes and the Cyclones. So I'm Team Cyhawk.
Joe?
So I'm also Team Cyhawk because there's 3 photos of that one and only one of the other. No, this rivalry. I remember it very clearly that week. It was a good rivalry, obviously, but the teams both really wanted it, and they're kind of back and forth, and both were this year at least they were both I think top 15, roughly top 20.
That was a top 10 matchup.
Was it top 10? Yeah. So this
Iowa State was ranked higher, right? They were number 6.
They were. They were. So this is just a great one, and the detail, the story is good. Mike's right. I don't know about the wrestling stuff, but it's cool how it came about. It's got history. It's kind of everything you want in a trophy.
Well,
is it true that this rivalry is referred to as El Assico? I saw that
Wikipedia.
In Wikipedia. They're doing some background research. I saw that it was referred to as El Assico, which I think is just awesome. Is a play on El Clasico, which is Real Madrid, Barcelona.
I did not hear that.
I did not either.
I haven't heard that either.
I mean, I love it more for that. I mean, it's on Wikipedia. Yeah. It can't be wrong.
Is it trademarked?
Right?
It can't be wrong.
But it was also, it was not just Wikipedia. I saw it on a couple different places.
Maybe it says it on the bottom of the trophy or something.
But for me, I might have tipped my hand in the 5 minutes I spent arguing with EJ, but for me, it's Cyhawk. It's everything except for that, random jaunt into abomination in 2011, 2012.
Yeah. That lasted 2 days.
Where corporate sponsorship ruined something. Go figure.
Yes.
As you're looking for a new sponsor,
but not the podcast.
Right. Not the podcast corporate sponsor will be amazing and a perfect fit and would never do anything that was abominable.
Never.
Cyhawk, same with me. I love the history behind it, the fact that the fans are the ones that force the schools to play. I love that they have a pretty cool week leading up to it. And now that Matt Campbell's at Iowa State, I feel like it's one of those games that I want to catch while he's there and why the Cyclones are good. It's definitely one of those games that I'd love to try and see. So Cyhawk there, five votes there. Not too surprising.
That was the first clean sweep.
No, Floyd.
Oh yeah,
Floyd.
Floyd, of course.
All right. So do you guys really want to take a quick break here? And, refresh some drinks.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, we will be right back.
This is the spot where your company could be sponsored.
Are we
on Kev, Uncle Kev?
Are we reloading on?
Oh yeah, reload on whatever you want.
Or are we
whatever you want? Whatever you want.
Okay.
Whatever you want. All right. We will be right back.
Bye.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome back, everyone. You guys all refresh your drinks here. What are we drinking here?
I actually throw back to episode 1 too, since people like how messed up we got. I made myself a massive Godfather. So.
Okay.
I'm sticking with the theme. I got another Chameleon, and then I'm chasing with my Scotch.
Jesus.
Chameleon chase with Scotch.
That's the only way to do it.
I have a beer called
the Hershey way.
He welcomes all alcohol.
Yeah.
I got finishing my Chameleon. And I got a little crispy.
I love Clown Shoes. They make great shit.
Yeah, that's what I got going.
Sponsor the pod, Clown Shoes.
Bozo did the dub.
Bozo.
I've got, I don't know if I'm next, but I've got a tequila, switching it up a little bit. Terramana, the Rocks tequila, spritzed it with a little lime juice, not lemon juice, but lime juice, and a little agave nectar, kind of
Nice.
little mini margarita, but I didn't want to shake it because the baby's sleeping, so kind of just mixed it all in there.
Is that the
shout out to the Rock, one listener?
Yeah, he's a listener.
Yeah,
what was that, Mike?
Is that the Terramana Gold that you sent us the picture of?
It was. Day? Yeah, I went to so Anna was now with the baby. She hasn't really drank much, but I got a text after work the other day that said, I need you to go get diapers and I need you to pick up a bottle of Kahlua. I was like, okay. So she wanted to make she likes espresso martinis.
Oh, okay.
And she apparently needed one. So I stopped to get that and I saw they had the Terramana. So then they're usually out at the place by us. So I grabbed a bottle. So I have the white and the gold.
No white Russians.
No.
No,
Doyle, what did you come back with?
So as I discussed before, I have an affinity for just straight bourbon. I went with the Bardstown Bourbon Company Fusion Series. It's a bottle I picked up recently, and I wanted to give it a taste.
Very nice.
That sounds lovely.
I've never had that. I'm gonna have to give that a shot.
Where is that? Where do you know where's that located?
In Kentucky, bourbon country.
Oh, it's not okay. So it's not like anything local or anything. Gotcha.
No, I never heard of it before. My cousin had picked up a bottle and said it was really good. So I'm giving it a shot. I mean, my rule of thumb is that if it's a bourbon, if it's a distiller of bourbon beginning with the letter B, it's usually a sure thing.
Yep.
You know, you got your Blantons, your Basil Hayden, your Bakers,
Bookers.
Fair.
Yeah.
Booker. I love Bookers.
Yeah.
Bookers makes a great gift. Everyone.
Letter Queen.
120 proof, great gift. 100%.
Don't brag, Doyle. Jeez.
Hey,
All right.
What are you chasing it with? Chameleon? Because if not, get off his level.
I achieved my 2 Chameleon minimum already.
Okay.
As you might be able to tell from how taxed and labored my speech is.
We'll see.
All right. So let's get on to the next matchup here. And this is our second and last play-in game for the 13 seed. And that is going to be between the Eli Buck Trophy and the Land of Lincoln Trophy. So first, the Eli Buck. So that is a game played between Illinois and Ohio State. And the trophy itself is a turtle. It is a wooden turtle. And the shell has the scores when the game is played and the victor. And that's what it looks like. And in 1925, there were two junior societies from either school decided that they wanted to add to what at the time was a really intense rivalry. So they came up with this trophy, and the idea behind the turtle, if you guys remember, was that they are long-lasting animals. So the idea the rivalry would be long-lasting, and it started off as a live turtle, but quickly turned into a trophy following the death.
It turned into a trophy.
Yes.
It was a real turtle at one point.
Yes.
It was,
And that turtle turned into a trophy.
Not the trophy. Well,
yes.
The trophy.
We're talking
was a live
taxidermy?
turtle.
Yeah. Wooden taxidermy.
Yes.
Its teeth were made of wool.
Wooden taxidermy.
So that is going up against the Land of Lincoln Trophy, and that is the in-state rivalry game between Illinois and Northwestern. And that trophy is a wooden base that has the description of the trophy, and on the other sides has the scores, and it has Abraham Lincoln a hat. It's a hat on top of a base, and it's supposed to symbolize Abraham Lincoln's top hat that he wore. And it actually the rivalry trophy started in 1941 as the Sweet Sioux Trophy, which was the cigar shop Indian trophy. And it kind of transitioned over time into various tomahawks of Sweet Sioux. And then it was changed in the 2000s due to the cultural insensitivity of some of those old trophies. And so the trophy was up for a vote, and this one was what won. And ultimately, it was also created by the local Pulitzer Prize winner, as we talked about him before.
Yep.
Dick
What was his name?
Loker.
Dick Locker. Yeah. So
what do you guys think
who
here?
Mike's voting for?
Do you know that? So I Googled some pictures of the Land of Lincoln Trophy.
I thought you Googled pictures of Dick Locker.
Oh,
yeah,
I
thought that.
I want to see those Google results.
Oh, I turned the safe search off, my friend. Do you know that some of these sons of bitches, when they win the Land of Lincoln Trophy, and this goes to a point we made during the episode, they put the trophy on their heads to make it look like they're wearing a hat. Because we agreed this trophy would be so much cooler if it was just a hat and you could just
so dumb. Like
they just put it on their
head. Are you just talking about the strength and conditioning coach for Northwestern?
No, I'm talking about all kinds of people.
It's just a missed opportunity. How do you miss that opportunity?
Well, given that Sweet Sue was stolen, they had to put the tomahawk in a glass case because they were afraid it would get stolen. We know that theft is rampant among the Big Ten. Like
they had to dumb it down to the point where no one wants it.
Yeah. So,
all right, Mike, what's your vote?
It's tough for me. Like I love trophies. I love turtles and trophies. Really do like turtles.
I love turtles.
I like turtles.
I like turtles.
I like that they also smoke a peace pipe.
I love the peace pipe.
Have been smoking a peace pipe for a while. There's so much rich history with Dick Locker and the folks at the Land of Lincoln Trophy. I have to go for it. It's the Land of Lincoln for me. I actually was gonna say, because Zeke, this picture of Zeke holding the Libuck is so cute. But you know what, man, Land of Lincoln. It's a last minute switch decision for me. So,
Chris.
Yeah, I'm actually with Mike in my prelim bracket. I had the Libuck trophy, but last minute I changed to Land of Lincoln. I like the top hat. So yeah, that's going to be and the history, EJ, as you just explained. So I'm going to change my vote to the Land of Lincoln.
Joe.
Yeah, this one's kind of a tough one for me. You
Good
guys know how I feel about Ohio State, but if it's disappointing that they couldn't find a way to honor and keep Sweet Sue or even the tomahawk for that matter.
That's
to do it the right way.
That's
it's just disappointing. And how do you turn into this hat that isn't even a hat, or it is a hat but you can't wear it? Like, so for that reason just alone, that it's just they missed a huge opportunity to even just wear a hat, like make it a wearable hat. If you can't keep the really cool trophy that you had before either of them, then don't screw it up like this. So I unfortunately have to go with the Libuck. I think it's unique. I honestly, when we talked about this, I didn't.
That's true.
No, I had no expectation this was any animal, even a turtle, especially a turtle. So
it is unique. It's a good matchup. It's two Illinois trophies too. That's why I think some of these matchups.
So I'm one of those three people in the stands at the Illinois game there.
This matchup brought to you by Melon Hats, right?
Yeah.
I should have changed it after at the intermission.
Yeah.
So I love the Land of Lincoln Trophy. I love the Cigar Store Indian. I love the tomahawk. And then I wrote on my notes, I wrote top hat is great too. If I didn't have the knowledge of the prior great trophies, I think the Land of Lincoln Trophy would be great. I like that they chose the turtle because of longevity, and that they had a live turtle in 1925, and in 1926 it was dead, which is like that's just like that's
you
great.
don't know about lasting long, dude.
Right. I mean that's great. You can't write that. But for me, I've got like a personal story about the turtle too. So we honeymooned in Tahiti, my wife and I. And on the way, we had a medical issue on the plane. And when we landed, we told people about the medical issue, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, you're pregnant. Watch out for turtles, because turtles are a big Polynesian sign of virility and fertility. So if you see a turtle, you're definitely pregnant." And of course, we saw 5 while we were there for a week or two. We fortunately were not pregnant at that moment, but as everyone here knows, I would come to father two children at the same time.
Twins,
so,
also known as twins.
Also known as twins. So that kind of came full circle. So oddly enough, on the way out of Tahiti, we found this.
So which
this
trophy is it?
on the way out of Tahiti, we found this wooden trophy statue that we bought in Tahiti and brought back here. And
he found the real Sioux.
That would be the story. But so we have a little turtle that looks kind of like that, the Illibuk trophy. So for me, for all those reasons, it's the Illibuk.
So you're going with the Land of Lincoln then, huh?
Yeah.
You aren't proposing, are you?
So I have to tie break
I'm about to go
another
I'm about to switch my
matchup
vote.
here.
Holy shit.
Okay, so both have history. Obviously Land of Lincoln, because again, I was with Joe. Like I had no idea that the Illibuk trophy even existed, because you never think of Illinois and Ohio State of any two schools that have a trophy. So I do appreciate the story. I like that it's a turtle and it's unique. Land of Lincoln also has a great history with various trophies. Again, like I'm kind of with you guys. The top hat is still unique, but they could have given what the history that they had before. It was kind of a letdown. Neither game I'm going to ever turn on TV. But this year I did with one of them, but I'm going to give the edge to the Land of Lincoln because it's an in-state rivalry game.
Wow.
And while it's not,
I was getting ready to change my vote to Illibuk. Holy shit.
Still can.
No changing.
Wow.
Doyle, lay it on again. Lay it on thick.
so
A rich personal tie to me. Mike, come on.
while it's not a good game between, for any other viewers other than the alums at school, both schools, it's definitely a game that, alums care about. It's still an in-state rivalry game. So I'm going with Land of Lincoln for that reason.
Well, it doesn't really matter even if I were to change my vote, because I'm pretty sure the number 4 seed is running away with this one.
Yes. So they got so Land of Lincoln won that matchup to
that
have the
may
right
be our
to play.
closest matchup, like, because I was back and forth on the
I agree.
there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought actually, Mike, you were on the turtle. I thought you would have been Team Turtle.
I know. I like I said, I changed my vote last minute, but it doesn't matter because
So they are playing now, that they advanced to be the 13 seed, playing the number 4 seed, which is the Paul Bunyan Trophy.
Yeah.
So the Paul Bunyan Trophy is Paul Bunyan. So it is a figure of Paul Bunyan doing a nice little hands on his waist stance, power stance, chest out with his axe between his legs.
It's not the only thing that's out.
And and he's shirtless. Oh no, he isn't. His shirt's just the same color as his. Yeah, he looks like he's shirtless. He is a figure that can be put on a huge, like 6-foot base, but they take him off of it to let him walk around or get carried around the field. And
he might walk
walking like Jim Harbaugh's just walking
robot.
And yes, sorry, Paul Bunyan is Michigan State, and it was
you
created
tied to that or something.
No.
Yes. So it was created in 1953 by the then governor, who was a Michigan graduate, University of Michigan grad, and he came up with the idea as a way to introduce Michigan State into the Big Ten that year. So it was a year that Michigan State joined the Big Ten. So what do you guys think here?
Paul Bunyan.
Paul Bunyan.
Yeah, it's got to be.
As Doyle would say, no contest. Paul Bunyan.
Yeah.
So I just want to take a second to remark on the Paul Bunyan pose.
Yeah.
I mean, this is clearly this is very erotic. I mean,
didn't know you were going that route.
He was full on.
He does live in Miami now, South Beach.
Full on pelvic thrust, and he's straddling the axe like he just came off like a stripper set on it. Like that is clearly, he is a powerful, sexy man.
Is there a Paula Bunyan, a girlfriend or wife?
I think he's good with Paul.
I would be Paula Bunyan for that.
Why do you think the Blue Ox is called Babe?
Well, that took a turn.
Cheeks.
All right. So why don't we go on to the 3 14 matchup here. So we have
this one is the most unfair matchup of the entire tournament.
So this is the number 3 seed is the $5 bits of broken chair, and the 14 seed is the Shillelagh Trophy. So $5 bits of broken chair is played between Minnesota and Nebraska. And what it looks like is it has a wood base that has the M for Minnesota symbol and the Nebraska N, and then a chair on its side, which also has a broken piece off of it. And it also has the plaque that has the name of the $5 bits of broken chair. And it was created by the internet in 2014 after a Twitter feud happened between two accounts, the Faux Pellini account and Goldie Gopher account. And so through a couple versions, it was created just by random fans on the internet. And it actually turned into a very cool charity between a charity competition, but not really a competition, between the Jack Foundation, which is, a Nebraska supported foundation, and then the University of Minnesota Masonic Children's Hospital. So that's that one. And then the Shillelagh Trophy is played the winner between Notre Dame and Purdue in-state game there wins that one. And it is a shillelagh, an Irish shillelagh into a wood block, and they have little football medallions is what the scores and stuff is on the wooden base around the shillelagh, and a couple of other random football figurines on the side as well. And so this was created in 1957 after an Notre Dame alumni brought it back from Ireland and decided that it would be cool if this was a trophy for them to play. And it's one of about 7 shillelaghs that Notre Dame plays for. All right. So what do you guys think? 13 versus 4.
I know Doyle's vote here with the erect shillelagh.
But, it fits with the Paul Bunyan.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not the only reason I voted for Paul Bunyan. Well, the Paul Bunyan Trophy is just a great trophy. I just wanted to remark on the post.
Yeah. So for me, it's the broken chair, with the shillelagh having Notre Dame as one of the teams. That's automatically out for me. So.
Mike,
it's funny you said that, because that was absolutely what I was going to say. like you don't get to be independent and have anything good happen to you.
I mean, I'm all aboard that logic as well, but like also, and I said this when the episode actually aired, but like the fact that something so good and pure came out of Twitter is incredible, and it's an anomaly. And I love it, man. $5 bits of broken chair all day, every day, twice on Sundays. I love it.
It doesn't need the oral.
It does not. It does not.
No, I agree. I love that trophy. Doyle?
Yeah, I mean, you've got the crowdsourcing aspect. You've got the charity aspect. This is like Tiny Tim versus Scrooge. Like, it's got to be the $5 bits of broken chair. And by the way, Scrooge is Notre Dame.
Yes.
Thanks for clarification.
Yeah.
Well,
there you go.
So
clean sweep.
Brian Kelly's.
I didn't vote yet.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Joe.
You won't do it. You won't vote for this.
Should I?
Might as well now.
I want to point out these stupid punter characters on the shillelagh. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah.
Worst.
So
like
dumb.
If you're gonna put any character or like just a like the Heisman pose is cool, or like anything really that you want, but those are it's like they're just punting, like the worst aspect of the game. Maybe not, but
I was gonna say I'm surprised you're going that route, Joe, as a former soccer player.
Yeah, I mean I like the kicking aspect, but like I don't watch for the punting. So $5 bits. So surprise clean sweep.
Okay, so now we're on to a 6-11 matchup here, and I'm kind of surprised that it turned into what it did. And this is also an interesting one because it's one school's 2 trophies.
We've had a couple, like that's why I said the first round's great, because we've had a couple where it's like the same school is involved in both matchups. So
Yes.
Yeah, whoever made the bracket did a great job.
Thank you.
So we have the number 6 seed is the Purdue Cannon.
It was math. It was just.
I know. I saw the math on the Excel. I believe it. It's just like it's one of those like divine things.
Exactly. Yeah. Some would say this podcast is ordained by God. Yeah.
I think college football generally just
yes.
Oh, I love that.
All right, so the 6th seed is the Purdue Cannon, and the 11 seed is the Old Oaken Bucket. So the Purdue Cannon, it's
a bucket.
Yes. The Purdue Cannon is a cannon. It's a little cannon, and it does have a plaque that it can sit on that has not a plaque, like a base, and that it can sit on, a smaller base. And it's I don't know, maybe about an 8-inch, no, maybe like a 12-inch cannon. So it's definitely handheld, and they take it off of the base when they win. And it was brought to the game in 1905 by Purdue fans to celebrate. The game is played between Purdue and Illinois. And so in 1905, Purdue fans brought it to the game to celebrate after the game, and Illinois frat guys found it and stole it. So they never did get that celebration, and they kept it. And it was not actually introduced as a trophy until 1943. And as a reminder that we talked about, it did fire. It was fireable, and it did for many, many years. But then the Old Oaken Bucket is a bucket.
Pew.
It's about 18-inch, 24-inch bucket, and it has the a P or an I depending on which school wins, Indiana or Purdue, and that is put on as like a link chain attached to the bucket. And the idea came from some Chicago alum official chapters from the schools based in Chicago, and they were trying to workshop back in 1925. They were trying to workshop the idea, and were searching for something to add to the rivalry, which is an in-state rivalry, and they workshopped the idea of a bucket, and then went out searching for said bucket and found a Civil War era bucket.
I want to hear Mike say it.
It's a bucket. It's a bucket to represent an entire state, a rivalry. Listen, guys, I mean, this the 6-11, I think this is our first true upset of the tournament. I think that we criminally underrated the bucket whenever we did, especially compared to these other trophies, because there's so many cool things about the history here. Like the fact that these guys were just hungover, like got off a bender, and they're like, oh shit, we forgot. Like, we have to, present to the board today on what our trophy is. And, coming out of the hotel, they saw some guy mopping the floors, and they're like, all right, bucket, that sounds good. And they're like, oh shit, now we got to find a good bucket. And then they marauded around, the state of Indiana.
All right, Brian.
Yeah. Eventually found a Civil War bucket that meant something. And the fact that, like, I love that, like, the P's and the I's making the chain, the fact that the bucket does have some historical significance, like, and Sunshine Scooter, man, just seeing old Coach Corso holding that bucket. And that's kind of why I put the picture there. I want to play at the heartstrings of the fellow Coach Corso lovers out there. Like, for me, it's just, well, actually, you guys are Miami guys, so the fact that Scooter was at Florida State, that's maybe not the best thing I could have done, but it's the bucket by a mile for me. The fact that the cannon can be shot and fired, that's cool, but like, honestly, the bucket's just,
the bucket can hold things.
Yeah,
right. It can hold the cannonballs for the cannon.
Yes, exactly. It's the bucket for
if
me.
Purdue wins both games, then they can hold their cannonballs in the bucket. Yeah,
I hope the bucket makes a run. I don't know that it will, but I hope it does. And I like the bucket.
It's like the dandy, baby. So it's funny. It's funny that you say that in Miami we should be against Florida State. Most, like, a lot of people here are Miami fans, but there's a lot of people that are UF, and it's not like it's the hometown team, but a lot of people would rather see, I think, Florida's a bigger team here than UM.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's anecdotal. It's not based on anything other than what I've seen. But yeah, the Old Oaken Bucket for me, all the history, it's a bucket. Indiana. I think Indiana.
It's a
bucket. I mean, Indiana. I don't think Mike Pence, Pete Buttigieg. I think Old Oaken bucket. That is the state. It's a bucket. It's just perfect.
I see where you're going. I was like, where's he going with this?
It's perfect.
Mayor Pete.
I think it's perfect.
Mayor Pete of that nasty town up in northern Indiana.
Home of that school that we don't talk about because they're independent.
So yeah, I'm gonna be the outlier here. I think. I think the cannon's really cool. It fires. Or maybe did you say fired?
It doesn't fire anymore.
Are you sure? I thought you said it did.
Yeah, they don't. Well, they may be able to. They don't fire it anymore.
Okay.
Like me after my next child.
So I like that aspect. The bucket. All I hear is Mike. It's a bucket.
Bucket.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's kind of the bucket. I feel like is kind of trying to mimic some other trophies.
But Joe, hear me out.
Yeah.
It's a bucket.
I know, and that I take that as a bad thing. Like it's just a bucket
with the chain P and I.
So Mike, he doesn't understand.
Yeah, understand. Listen, let's just go back. So it's a bucket.
Wait, so this one, let's see. So who will this one go up against next?
You don't got to worry about that.
No.
Well, you gotta make your matchup now.
So stay in the moment.
Yeah.
All right, Cannon.
EJ, why don't you go?
Yeah, you can't keep going last.
I'll give you some reprieve.
But it's the $5 bits of broken chair.
So. It is the Old Oaken bucket for me.
Yes.
It's just I've always enjoyed it. Obviously, again, the game isn't something that people turn on, Purdue and Indiana football, but rich history. I actually kind of like the bucket. I think it's very unique. I like the I's and P's, the link. Old Oaken bucket for me. Chris.
All right. Well, not that my vote matters now. I'm going to go with the cannon. Reminiscent of Tommy Touchdown, every time they score, they fire a cannon as well, but not that it matters.
I was gonna say there are some other cannons in college football, which I hope we can get to someday.
I do like that it was functional at one
not college,
point and actually fire.
Are we talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now? Because I've got thoughts.
No, there's some other college.
They do fire cannons.
Football.
That's what I was mentioned. But yes.
Yeah.
I heard Tommy and cannons, and that's where I went.
Two different cannon. No.
All right.
Different.
Old Oaken bucket wins 3-2. Advances.
It's gonna hurt my bracket. It's gonna hurt my bracket.
So now we're at the we're getting to the last two in the initial round.
I believe that's called the nitty gritty.
Yes. So we have the 7-10 matchup here, and the 7-10 matchup is the Little Brown Jug number 7 versus the Heartland Trophy number 10. So the Little Brown Jug is exactly how it sounds. It's a little brown jug that has Michigan. It's played between Michigan and Minnesota, and it has Michigan's emblem on one side and Minnesota's emblem and colors on the other side, and it's a bucket.
No,
it's a jug. And so this story stems back to the Michigan coach being concerned about poisoning in 1903, and then following the game, the jug was left and
it was a
collected,
water jug.
Yes. Collected by the Minnesota janitor, and they saved it for 6 years until the next matchup, and they proposed it to Michigan as a rivalry trophy, and Michigan accepted, and then they played it or gave it to each other ever since in 1905 or 1909, excuse me, and plenty of history of thievery and losing it. And so that's the Little Brown Jug. And then the Heartland Trophy. The Heartland Trophy is a big wooden base that it's played between Iowa and Wisconsin. And it has a plaque that has the scores on it, the school's emblems, and then the centerpiece is a bull, a big old bull. And it's a big hulking trophy. And this was created in 2004 by the ADs from both schools. And essentially it was just created. It was a very heated rivalry already, and they decided that they finally wanted to put a trophy for that rivalry. So what do you guys think? 7-10.
So to quote Bill Murray in Ghostbusters, it's true, Your Honor. This man has no balls. The bull has no balls.
He does not.
It's the brown
He wants
jug
the balls
by a mile.
Yeah, after my next pregnancy.
criminally.
Sorry, what'd you say?
underrated
We didn't catch that.
I said much like me after my next pregnancy. Wanted to keep that joke alive.
Okay. Chris, what do you think?
I'm Team Jug here. I like the simplicity. I like the history.
I'm gonna go also with the Jug. It's the original rivalry trophy. There is a little bit of dispute, but it's definitely 1-2.
CFG, baby.
I consider it the OG. So and the Heartland is just Floyd. It's just trying to be Floyd. Mike just popped off his shirt.
AEW star over here.
We're getting into the quarterfinals here, and he's
looks
popping.
like the Paul Bunyan trophy right now.
Is that Adam Cole?
It's
Baby?
hot. Baby, it's hot, dude. I need to rip the top off here.
So how much did the Michigan Jug Trophy cost? I remember this being
it wasn't like 5 cents or
5
something
cents.
like that?
Yes.
I don't know what Wikipedia says, but it was 5 cents.
Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you guys know what I'm going here. I'm a Michigan fan. I'm gonna go Michigan, or the Little Brown Jug. It's got the history, and like you said, it's the oldest. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you can ask for. It's got the mystery of going missing. It's got people stealing it. It's got this jackass holding it. So
good looking jackass.
How smarmy. Oh, it's just great.
That is nice. I like that sweater though.
So
Sweater weather.
I want to give some
time
time to the Heartland Trophy. It's a bull, and I like the livestock. It's the Midwest. They've got livestock. I like the livestock. But it's the Jug.
Jeez, Doyle.
I mean, it's
liking the livestock.
Exactly.
Wow.
All right, and Doyle,
the Jug ended up as the number 7 seed. And that's
yeah, it seems a little low. High, whatever you want to call it. Low.
I will say, I think it's just because it was our first trophy, so we didn't know where to really scale.
Yeah.
We didn't really have a good idea of our scale yet.
You
don't sound great now without your headphones, just so that you know. So if there's any way you can pop on some headphones,
Charge those bad boys, baby,
or find
Pop off that shirt.
some wired ones.
Do I sound better now?
You do.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, so now on to the last first round matchup, which is the 2-15 matchup, and that is the number 2 Paul Bunyan's Axe versus the Old Brass Spittoon.
This is going to be a tough one for Mike. I already know it.
So Paul Bunyan's Axe, that's played between Minnesota and Wisconsin, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It is a 6-foot axe, and on one side it's colored red for Minnesota, or excuse me, for Wisconsin, and then it's yellow for Minnesota on the other side, and it has the scores along the base of the handle, and it has had a couple of them because it runs out of space. And it was created in 1948 by the Wisconsin W Club, but the rivalry trophy aspect of the rivalry started back in 1930 with the slab of bacon. And after that was lost, they waited until after the World Wars to create another trophy, in which they came up with Paul Bunyan's Axe. And the Old Brass Spittoon is it's an old brass spittoon. I don't know how else to describe it. And it was created in 1950 by a Michigan State student who was afraid the team would fall trap to a trap game against Indiana that year, and he was inspired by the Little Brown Jug and went to a trading post and found an old brass spittoon that had a little bit of history with both Michigan, the state of Michigan, and the state of Indiana. So
that is a forward-looking student, because that's still a trap game.
Yes.
No disrespect to Indiana, but come on.
Yeah, no, definitely. All right, so what do you guys think? 2-15.
I'm gonna go Axe here.
Okay.
I just think of Big Ten, right? You got the 2 northern teams. I'm gonna go with the Axe, and it's gold, not yellow. EJ, and as anyone from Pittsburgh would say, it's
yeah,
black and yellow.
I will say
noted.
This, I will say this, that if this was an actual like March Madness game where it was the 2 versus the 15 seed, this is one where the 15 seed's up at halftime, and everyone's like, "Oh, upset alert!" and the 2 seed just pulls away. Like I do like this spittoon quite a bit. I like that they were inspired by the jug. I think whoever they made this trophy or found it from the antique shop. I think it's just like, I mean, obviously I'm a dipper, so like, you know, it's just dipping and football goes together, so it's gritty as all hell. But I mean, the axe, and I mean the picture that I chose, I love this picture because it's just this Wisconsin player who's looks like a Viking because he's got red hair and a big red beard, and he's an offensive lineman, number 61, and he's just got this axe. It's a snow game, so there's like snow falling around him, and it's just like he's just a Viking on his way to raid, dude. And that's what this axe is all about. I love it. So yeah, Paul Bunyan's axe for me for sure.
Joe?
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm going with the axe. If you go back to the episode, I was not a fan of the spittoon. Just seemed kind of forced. I know they go to a flea market or something and just picked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the axe,
for
100%.
$70, as I recall, on that episode, is an item that Kara would have come back with.
Yes.
Wow. He did his research.
We do have a milk jug at our house that is a plant stand that is from
a very large milk jug. Yeah. So it's Paul Bunyan's axe for me as well. I do like the history of the spittoon. I always love when a fan takes a trophy, like the idea of a trophy, into their own hands and really be, taking the what's the word I'm looking for? Initiative, to do something like that. So I do like that aspect of it. I think it looks ugly and it's really an old spittoon that's probably gross and disgusting that people actually spit in. But I mean, Paul Bunyan's axe is an axe, like a real weapon. So love that. Paul Bunyan's axe.
Right. Yeah, I remember playing like NCAA 2004 and knowing that Paul Bunyan's axe was a big deal. Like that is the Big Ten trophy. It's an axe. It's great.
Well, NCAA is coming back. I wonder if they're going to have these trophies.
Oh, they better.
I mean, I'm usually with Mike about like the old brass spittoon. That would usually be like a thing for me. That would usually be an attractive trophy, but the axe. I mean, come on.
It ran to a buzzsaw. The spittoon just ran to a buzzsaw in this matchup.
It happens.
So, yeah.
All right, guys. So let's get on to our next round here. So let's go back up to the top of our bracket. We have the number 1 seed Floyd of Rosedale against the number 9 seed Land Grant Trophy. So what do you guys think?
Do we need to talk about it?
It's a great question.
Floyd. One vote, Floyd.
Floyd.
Doyle?
The lawyer is going to go opposite here.
All right, he's doing his research here.
Yeah,
so
he's on Wikipedia.
Mike?
Mike wants a second too. I mean,
I'm surprised
guys, this like most people are listening to this and not watching this, so we can't just have like awkward pauses here.
I'm having a hard time because
that's why you think I'm surprised.
I only have awkward pauses for the Paul Bunyan Trophy.
I'm gonna go Floyd to make this just that much quicker because we're running on 2
Jared,
hours
you give the
here.
Listeners any suspense?
No, not at all. Not 2 hours into the 1-9 seed because we're gonna have some
Anchorman's
actual like
gone.
we have some real matchups here in like the semifinals.
Yeah,
it's Floyd.
Yeah, for me, I had to think about it long and hard, but like it's
okay.
Yeah.
I love you, Land Grant Trophy, but it's Floyd.
Yes, I love you. I'm glad that they got out of the first round.
Okay.
Sure.
So now we have the matchup here, which is the
God.
This
is a tough one.
This is going to be a second.
So this is the 5-4 matchup here. So we have the 5 Cyhawk Trophy and the 4 Paul Bunyan Trophy.
We know where Doyle's gone.
What do we think here?
Doyle?
It's a Paul Bunyan Trophy for me.
Okay. Got one Paul Bunyan.
I'll go next. I think this one, I like that they're both in state, very similar rivalries. But I think the Paul Bunyan has been closer. I mean, I haven't been tracking the Iowa State. I don't remember exactly what the numbers were, but I feel like the Michigan State's been closer more often. So I think I'm going to go Paul Bunyan. I also think has more character, really. If you look at the trophies, sure, you had the guys that kind of created it. That's very cool. But the Paul Bunyan's got the trophy itself has more character.
So the
I will say I was at a wedding in Buffalo for the Michigan State game, and the wedding or the game was way more important than the wedding. Like when we were on the bus going to like the photo shoot areas, and we were all watching the game. Like everyone cared about the game. The Michigan State game is a national happening.
Yeah.
In a way that I don't think Iowa State is. Maybe yet. I mean, Iowa State it's a good matchup.
This year it was huge.
Michigan State.
So I agree that Michigan State is the game that I will tune in for more and care more about. That being said, I think that the great thing about this podcast is I learned a lot about Iowa State. I learned about the history of this trophy, the beer league bowlers. I learned about the fact that they have a whole road show going across the state of Iowa every week. Like, I think it's really neat. Like, I love the hell out of this trophy. The more and more we got into the history, the more invested in it I became. And where I will say that, like, you look back at the iterations of the Cyhawk and it's changed here and there, and sometimes not in the best way. Whereas Paul Bunyan has been consistent. It's the same thing, and it's awesome. The fact you can take that thing off the big stand and carry it around,
and it's huge,
super cool. Yeah, but I think I have to go with the Cyhawk here.
Ooh,
yeah.
Chris,
sleeper here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bunyan, as most other people. I like both of these rivalries going forward, especially the Iowa State game. That gained a lot of momentum this year, but I think just the history of everything, I'm going to go with Bunyan.
Yeah, so Cyhawk was probably one of the top three I loved learning about. I'm with you in every aspect that you talked about, Mike. I think when it comes to the history of the actual trophy, the Cyhawk is much better. I think the look of the Paul Bunyan is much better, and they nailed it the first time around. And maybe it's just a bias, but I think Michigan State, even when, especially for the Spartans, even when they were terrible, they still were in those games. Like, very rarely did they get blown out, and then they would pull off the upset. So I feel like that game for the last, say, 30 years has been much more consistently close. And Paul Bunyan itself, like the trophy itself, is just kind of like iconic. But I do love the history of the Cyhawk, and that was honestly one of my most favorite trophies, like doing the research of.
I'll say this, like,
it should be noted that the Paul Bunyan trophy has never had an abomination like the second Cyhawk. Right.
That's what makes it.
Wait,
better
are you talking about the one with the farmer and the children like leaning with down?
With the farmer and the weirdly, like,
that had nothing to do with football.
Yes, right.
I think Paul Bunyan's great, so like it doesn't break my heart to be on the wrong side of this one, but like, it's a shame that this matchup had to happen now.
Exactly.
Like in the finals.
I mean, we're gonna have some more like this. So
yeah, we are.
This segment brought to you by Paul Bunyan himself.
Okay, so on to the next one. This is the number 3 seed, the $5 bits of Broken Chair, against the 11 seed Old Oaken Bucket. What do we think, guys?
It's a bucket. I mean, it's got to be. It's a bucket for me. I'm sorry. I love the Old Oaken Bucket. I am the Old Oaken Bucket Stan account right now. I love it.
Joe, I feel like I know how you feel about the other.
Yeah,
ones,
I mean, you can't really beat the charity. Whether that's kind of a crutch that's going to keep this thing going through this bracket or not. The trophy itself is really cool too, and the history, how it came from fans and they created it and had it built and all that stuff. So that, for me, that's not just the charity aspect, but the actual history and even though it's not a ton, it's not that old.
Yeah.
But they kind of created their own history. So the chair for me.
Chris, what do you think?
I got the chair. I in my prelim bracket, I had the cannon going on, but yeah.
Okay.
So I'll take the chair here.
All right, Mike.
EJ, are you on the fence at all?
Whoa! This is independent.
Well, I'm just curious. Are you on the fence?
I was. I
All
have
right.
made up my
All right,
mind.
let EJ go first.
So,
then.
well,
He's
no,
always the
because
deciding vote.
I
Are you on the fence?
I was. Well, all right. So let me. I think I should go first because
Okay.
I'd like to give my pitch here because, I'm back and forth. I love both of these trophies. When we talk, like, these are two of my favorite episodes because the chair and the charity, like everything that goes into this, the fact that Twitter came up with something that was so good and so pure and created this really cool, unique trophy that has a lot of history built into it in a short amount of time is incredible. And a Twitter beef becoming a rivalry trophy, becoming this thing that funds two great causes with the Minnesota Masonic Children's Hospital and Jack's, like that's incredible. At the same time, the Old Oaken bucket is what college football is like all about. It's this crazy, it's a bucket. But the fact when you add a couple I's and P's and you put them on a chain and it's linked back to a Civil War bucket, like it's just why do we care so much about this object that really has no value attached to it? But kids go out on one Saturday every fall and play their asses off to hoist this thing. That's what's incredible to me. Not taking anything away from the awesome fact that like the $5 bits of broken chair goes to some awesome charities, which is fantastic. If you take that fact out of it, the Old Oaken bucket is a better trophy and a better rivalry, and that's why I'm going with the Old Oaken bucket.
Look, I want to expound on my "it's a bucket" comment. When I think of Big Ten football, I think of things like the Old Oaken bucket. Like it's got history.
So you've heard of this before this podcast?
Yeah,
because I
mostly
hadn't.
from NCAA 2004. Like I said, great game.
Okay.
But it's old. It's got history. It's storied like the Big Ten, like the Midwest in football. And coming from an outsider's perspective, that's why I think of the Old Oaken bucket is kind of like the Tolkien
it's an
Big Ten rivalry trophy.
It's an institution.
But will it be a part of NCAA 2021?
That's a good
2022.
question. That's a good question.
And this is what you have. You have new age versus kind of the old school, and
yes,
they each stand for their own thing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly what this.
And a lot of these are gonna, like any of the newer ones, they're not gonna have the history, and that's kind of the difference, I guess.
True.
Which is why we're voting.
Yeah, I am very torn for those reasons. $5 bits of broken chair is also one of the ones I loved to learn about. Its history and just like how it organically came about is awesome. Like I just love the history. I love it's very unique, like even outside of the charity aspect of it, like it's awesome. And then like how you guys have talked about Old Oaken bucket created in 1925. It is I was aware of that bucket before doing all this research. And I do like the uniqueness and the links and everything like that. And neither of these games are games that like I'm super excited about. So
that's kind of a wash.
Right. So that's a wash for me. I have said this before, and I have put a premium on like the rivalry between the schools and how close it is and how it is an in-state rival. And while again, we probably don't care about it, the two schools do. So I feel like I have to go with the bucket, even though I feel like I'm with Mike in the sense that, like, obviously the $5 bits of broken chair is an awesome thing, and I'm really glad that it gets the recognition it does.
So as a new
year.
dad, you're gonna go with the bucket over sick kids?
That's lobbying. That is lobbying right there. That is lobbying.
What did Mike say earlier? That's just my thoughts.
No, it's hey. I'm sad to see this happen to the chair. I think we all love the chair.
Yeah.
But I am yeah.
I want to say I love the chair story. I love that it came from fan sourcing. I love that something good came out of Twitter for once. I love that. I love the chair. The charity aspect, the charitable aspect is great. But that is like the old Oaken bucket is quintessential Big Ten football. For me.
It's a bucket.
It's a bucket. Exactly.
I wonder what roller hockey Mark rates the bucket at. Maybe a 6.3.
7.3.
Yeah, we don't know what Mr. Katz thinks.
Can we get him on?
Funny you say that.
Yeah,
Mark from.
So he actually rated the podcast a 5.3, and he only goes on podcasts
so screw him
or above. So
he's out. Get him off the team.
All right, so the last quarterfinal matchup here that we have is the number 7 Little Brown Jug and the number 2 Paul Bunyan's Axe. So what do you guys think about this one? Actually, I'll go first. So I love both. Obviously, the Little Brown Jug is the same with the history aspect of it. Like, it is the OG, and the story itself is super crazy.
Almost insulting it's a 7 seed, given it is the OG.
Absolutely. And then with Paul Bunyan's Axe, I personally like what Paul Bunyan's Axe looks like better than the Jug. Like, it is obviously an axe. It has its own really great history and rich history. They have the cool ceremony of like purposely or pretending to chop down the goalposts, and that has led to confrontation, which is also awesome. It's one of those things where in modern day, neither game again is a big must watch because Minnesota hasn't been very good.
Ho.
Sorry.
This
no
year.
PJ Flex slander on this podcast, my friend.
We are, I can't believe I'm the first.
How do we not begin with that?
Row the boat, Sky Ubanko Gophers, baby.
The stupid fake slide rule. That I cannot. How do we not start with that?
All right.
Doyle's getting like louder and louder as we go.
So
I think that's a closer, Doyle.
Yeah. So I think for me, I'm gonna have to kind of stick. It's tough because I want to say like I'm a traditionalist or whatever, but like both these trophies have rich history. But I something about the Little Brown Jug there, for me, it just that because it's the OG. I'm gonna have to go with the Jug.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jay. I think these are two quintessential Big Ten rivalries. Like I said, Northern, Midwest, but yeah, I'm agreeing with you, and I'm gonna go with the Jug, the OG.
So I'm gonna go with the Axe.
You would.
I think it's a little bit of a bigger rivalry. I think in terms of quintessential Big Ten, it's a wash. Those are two icons, right?
Yep.
But I think the rivalry is a little stronger for Minnesota, Wisconsin over Michigan, Minnesota. And for that reason, I'm going to go with the Axe.
Joe, go next.
Yeah,
Mike wants the deciding factor.
Very similarly, I do like the Axe. I think it's pretty cool compared to most of the other trophies. But the OG, the Jug is it. So going with the Jug.
Okay. I was wondering if I was gonna have to make the decision, but I mean, when you look, I love this picture of the guy with the axe, like, because it's football, baby. This is college football. We got an axe, and we're gonna chop down some goalposts, and it's gonna be great. But like, at the same time, all of the history that surrounds the Jug.
Yeah. And that history is crazy.
The fact that everything surrounding the Jug, and the fact that so many trophies were like based off of it, Say cheese, baby.
Best party shirt ever.
I'm just it's really hard for me to go against the jug.
Yeah.
I will say that like I loved learning about the axe. I love like the visual of I think there's so much cool things that go with it and winning it. But
sure.
Yeah, for me, jug. I'm honestly surprised. I'm a little surprised that because that's a 2 seed going down here to the number 7. And
yeah.
I mean, you could say that the top part of so when we look at the bracket, you could say the top part was pretty much chalk, and then upset city in the
this is going to be an interesting final.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so we're down to the semifinals here, guys. This is shaped up to be some real like David and Goliath, matchup in that final.
Top 4.
Yeah, so we have the top 4 here are the number 1 seed Floyd of Rosedale, the number 4 seed Paul Bunyan Trophy, the number 11 seed Old Oaken Bucket, and the number 7 seed Little Brown Jug.
So known as LBJ.
LBJ, before there was a LeBron James.
Okay.
All right, so
I think it's fitting that the Old Oaken Bucket is an 11 seed like UCLA was this year.
Yeah, this looks like a March Madness bracket
this year. I'll just say that.
They already aren't. They started, I think, at like 4, and then
they were at like 2 at one point when they
they were 2 at one point.
Oh, that's right, when they got killed by the Zags.
Should we get a Final Four break here?
Yeah, let's do a quick break.
Kidding me?
Yeah, so why don't we the people have spoken. They want a little pee break and a sip time break, so we are going to go on a break and come back with the Final 4, guys.
I'm not ready yet.
All right, shout out our Willie.
Welcome back, everyone. We are down to the Final 4 here.
The final countdown.
It is.
It's the
final.
Heated.
It will be the best trophy of the year.
Yes,
wow.
as you can hear, these chameleons are really coming in now.
Baby of the
year. All right, so this first semifinal matchup, we have the number 1 seed Floyd of Rosedale and the number 4 seed Paul Bunyan Trophy. And I'm gonna start us off here.
Might be the deciding vote.
This for me, I really don't even have to think about this. Prior to starting this podcast, obviously I had an idea, wanted to do some research to see if it was even feasible, and the first thing I researched was Floyd of Rosedale, which I had no idea what the heck it was, and I instantly fell in love. I could not wait for the episode to come to show Mike and Joe and the listeners and tell the story. Obviously Paul Bunyan is near and dear to my heart, but Floyd is a pig in the heartland, and he was used to ease tensions, racial tensions at the time. I am the biggest Floyd supporter here. It's Floyd for me.
That's it.
All right.
All right. What do you who Doyle? What do you think?
Oh, for me, Paul Bunyan is quintessential Big Ten.
Yep.
But at the same time, he's not a 98-pound, 2 foot long, 1.5 foot high bronze pig.
Somebody listened. Or
it's
Wikipedia.
Floyd is great. I love Floyd. Floyd is the whole story behind Floyd. Iowa, Minnesota, also like a very Big Ten rivalry. It's Floyd for me. I'm sorry, it's Floyd.
You don't have to be sorry.
Joe, what do you think?
This is a tough one for me. Kind of like EJ. I kind of have some stake in this one. But I think I'm the same. I think I'm gonna go with Floyd.
You have support in this one.
Yeah, I think it's just unique. It's none of the other trophies really, besides that stupid bowl that they tried to copy it. But yeah, it's unique in its own that it's heavy. It's a heavy pig, and these beefcakes want to play for it. So
oh, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
I was gonna go Paul Bunyan.
Okay.
Really?
I
You still can. For the
I
record.
love
Still
my big
for the
boy
record.
Floyd, but Paul Bunyan just Doyle with the whole sexuality of him, like, oh god. Yeah, no, but I mean they're both great, so my vote doesn't matter too much. But I was thinking of going Paul, but they're both awesome, so I can't. They're both big beefy fellas, so can't
True.
knock it.
Chris?
Yeah, my vote doesn't matter, but I will say my prelim bracket is busted at this point. I was gonna go with the beefcake Bunyan.
Oh wow! So this
different beef.
So now you guys really know that we didn't like premeditate this, because obviously we would have done it way better for drama reasons.
This is on the fly.
I just cross off this one and this one and this one.
Wow.
I'm happy Floyd made it though. Now this is gonna be a tough one.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
the next
So
one's
the
gonna be-
next semifinal here, the Old Oaken Bucket and the Little Brown Jug.
And I just want to say that I'm so happy that this is a matchup, because these are the two I absolutely want to do matchup against.
Yes.
Then why don't you go
Yes,
first?
I'm happy.
All right, Doyle. Yes, lead us off.
You know what I'm going to say? Mike, what am I going to say?
It's a bucket.
It's a bucket. I love the bucket.
Which
It's
one?
in state.
Yeah.
They had a search committee. They had, they found the Civil War bucket. It's got the I and the P forming a chain linked together. It's got Lee Corso. There's a picture of Lee Corso holding it on our script.
He
Sunshine
looks
Scooter.
great. He looks
Get him out of
great.
here.
And he looks great. I mean, no disrespect to the little brown jug.
I feel like there's disrespect.
Sounds like that was
No, the little brown jug is Taylor Swift, and the Old Oaken Bucket is Beyonce. Beyonce made the best video of all time.
No,
It's the Old
you just
Oaken
made the
Bucket.
Little
But
Brown
Taylor
Jug,
Swift
Jake
won.
Gyllenhaal.
I'm Kanye West. In this reference, I'm Kanye West.
It's a bucket. Okay.
It's a bucket.
At the end of the day, like Lil Brown Jug is they're the OG. They're the ones that create this whole thing. They're the reason why we have championship trophies. I love that it was so pure and natural. And oh gosh, now I'm talking myself into the jug. Because it was so pure and natural.
I already marked you down for bucket, so.
But where the jug is the innovator, the bucket is the elevator. It elevates it to a next level.
Get this guy coaching.
It takes
football.
it to, when you add in the I's and the P's on the chain, the fact that it's an in-state rivalry, the fact that you had two hungover dudes that came up with the reason for this trophy just because they saw some janitor in the lobby at the hotel after they got done banging out some chicks. This is,
This
it's
took a
so
turn.
stinking cool. It's a bucket.
Is
It's
that
a
on the
bucket.
Wikipedia that they were banging some chicks?
So we'll just type
In
it
my
as you wrote it on the
In
Wikipedia.
the Wikipedia, it's there.
Look, if it's on the Wikipedia, it's true.
All right, I'll go next, and I am going to add some drama here. I love both of these. I think the history around the Little Brown Jug and how it came about, and the just nastiness between Yost and the coach from Michigan and the Minnesota, and the calling each other thieves, and someone having it and holding it, and the conspiracy theories and all of that. I have to go Little Brown Jug.
Look, I mean, it's got a great story. It arose out of a fear of being poisoned by the home fans.
That's true.
It's true.
So I'll go next. And I have a couple points I want to make first. You guys probably know what I'm going to pick. I'm going with the Little Brown Jug. It's the OG. I see it is a bucket, but I see the bucket as kind of being created because of what the Little Brown Jug was. And the jug it's the charm. Like, you don't have this necklace with I's and P's on it, or whatever you want to call it. You have literally tally marks that are written onto this thing. I think that's the kind of the OG charm that it has.
But I think the chain is like I said, they're the innovators.
They are, but
elevate the game with the bucket.
They take them off.
Joe,
they take these P's and I's off the chain.
Next level.
If it was so important, keep them all on and just let it keep getting longer.
Joe, I want to ask, as a Michigan fan, how important to you is the jug? Like winning the jug. How important is winning the jug?
I would say it's fairly important. You don't want to lose to Minnesota. You don't want to lose to PJ Fleck.
Whoa! What did you just say?
Obviously you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose to Ohio State either.
Sure, but also how important is the bucket to Indiana and Purdue, or even people who aren't involved in it? Everyone.
I mean, Indiana Purdue. That's like the big Indiana rivalry.
What I'm saying,
and also the girls volleyball team creating the spike with the base off as an homage to the bucket. Like that's super cool.
Yeah, but okay. What else is cool is all these other trophies being based off this bucket. Every trophy we talked about has pretty much has been created after the bucket.
Like I said,
I think you Freudian slipped and you meant to say jug, but you said bucket.
No, they're both buckets.
The jug,
they're essentially the same thing. So that is Freudian, but it shows that the jug and the bucket are the same.
The bucket took it to the next level.
How?
I explained it already.
I don't know if you did.
The P's on the
because they stayed at a hotel
is incredible. That's next.
Because there's notches involved, Joe. There's notches.
They don't even keep all the I's and P's on it. They don't.
Well, because that would be impractical.
I mean, the Stanley Cup doesn't have every single ring on it, too.
True.
You got to pop them off sometimes.
Who is the Stanley Cup competing with?
I don't know. I guess the Calder Cup.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why
which is arguably more important than the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
All right, Hershey Bears fan.
All right, so I'm going bucket. I think I'm going jug. The bucket stemmed from the jug.
Another Freudian slip.
Dude, I don't think you're all in on the jug.
100% in on the jug.
All right, Chris. So you can either go with 1.5 votes for the jug, or 2, and maybe another half vote for the bucket.
It might be because the photo of the bucket's twice the size of this jug.
Well, hey, I operate the document.
So to me, I think this is a Michael Patrick Porkins versus Bart Harley Jarvis. I think you should leave fans, and for me, it's the jug by a mile. It's easy. It's the OG. It's 2 classic teams. It's the jug.
There you go.
Sorry to bust your bracket.
You know what though? Actually,
you're switching.
No, I love this final. I am
semifinal.
No, now we're in the finals.
Well, now leading into the final.
Because he's remarking on your pick.
Yeah, I guess that I'm obviously sad about losing on the bucket because it's a bucket, but the fact that the originator, the number 7 seed,
it deserves a spot,
is now in the final round matchup against our big boy,
literally
the King, who I even put on an Instagram post earlier in the season. I said, "Can anyone knock off the King?" But you know what? Were we looking too far in the future that we didn't bother look in the past?
Present?
This smug smile might say otherwise.
To be fair,
let's get Chad Ball on here.
He's too busy decorating that huge ass Christmas tree.
What's been edited out of this photo, by the way? Like what is the big chunk out of the left corner?
I don't know.
You don't want him that. Well, actually, you might want him that, Doyle.
I mean, the picture was taken in I think
it was just maybe got folded or something.
Yeah, 1903. So it took 7 years for it to actually develop.
So here we are, right? So Floyd of Rosedale, they took down the Land Grant Trophy and the Paul Bunyan Trophy. 2, in my opinion, excellent trophies.
I had the Bunyan going all the way, so
yeah.
And I'm kind of surprised that Floyd of Rosedale. I mean, that was a real close matchup with Floyd of Rosedale and Paul Bunyan.
I'm kind of surprised that the Michigan and Michigan State fans that make up 2/5 of this group didn't push the Paul Bunyan there.
I've been talking about Floyd to anyone that wants to listen for a long time here, guys.
I know that Floyd is like, EJ, I know for you, so our championship matchup with Floyd and the Little Brown Jug. I know that Floyd, EJ, is like, you knew you wanted to do this podcast.
Yes.
And then Floyd really was like, hell yeah, I want to do it.
Yeah.
But let's not forget the reason why we are all here. And if the Old Oaken Bucket,
because Texas is back,
it should be the Little Brown Jug, who is the originator of this. And I mean, this is a super hard matchup because you have two great histories here. You have Floyd, who, they brought in a freaking pig to ease racial tensions. And, the fact that it was a real pig that was used at first, and now we have this lovely, awesome, massive, girthy trophy, which I'm a big fan. Heavy as all hell.
And a brand new big ass pig statue because of how much it matters to those two states.
Yes. And then we have the OG, the Little Brown Jug, the one that so many people have tried to replicate with the spittoon,
and steal
a bucket. So many people have stolen. That's one of my biggest takeaways from this podcast is all the thievery that happens at the Big Ten.
Yes.
But you know what? At the end of the day, no matter what, no matter who wins this, row the boat, Sky Yuma, go Gophers. Minnesota is
what if PJ went to Texas?
Big
I don't think we could handle it.
Minnesota fan over here.
You don't even know how much Texas
that tank top would have been popped by now.
I would buy so much burnt
something
orange,
else would have been popped.
It would make your eyes
pop that shirt off.
Little Paul Bunyan there. All right, so Mike, then what's your vote here?
I don't know yet.
So I want to say I also like that it's a trophy that's both won or lost by Minnesota.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I didn't realize that. Yeah,
that's what Mike just went on his whole speech there was to
I'm honestly I'm really I did not expect this. I did not expect
I didn't either.
The OG.
So Mike, what did you have in your prelim finals?
Yeah, who did you see it with?
Finals, I thought it would be I didn't fill out the whole bracket, but I thought it would be the Bits of Broken Chair against Paul Bunyan is what I thought was going to end up.
Oh, you thought we'd all cave to
Mike,
the charity,
the heartstrings,
the Triple H.
Well, yeah. I thought Cyhawk had a chance too. I
did. I like Cyhawk.
I thought Cyhawk or Paul Bunyan would be the winner, to be honest. But I like where we're at.
Does anyone already know their pick here if Mike's undecided?
I'll go ahead and pick.
Okay.
So I obviously you guys just heard I voted against the Paul Bunyan in the last round for Floyd, and I've also voted for the Jug. So I do like both. I think they both have very interesting history, and for their own good reason, like EJ mentioned with Mike mentioned with the racial tension, and one with potential poisoning of a team.
Anthrax.
Yeah. But for me, I think the history, the OG-ness, I think I'm going with the Jug. I think Floyd, it's honestly, I think they're very close, but I think I have to go with the original just because it is unique in that sense where like the bucket, I feel like was kind of just mimicked the Jug. I think they're kind of all just taking after this Jug, which is it's a compliment to the Jug and to the history of it. Not that it's not necessarily the best rivalry right now, but obviously back then it was enough to create the first trophy. So I'm going with the Jug.
Chris?
I'm with Joe. I'm going to go with the Jug. Going back to the OG, it's the first trophy. Michigan, Minnesota, quintessential Big Ten. I'm Team Jug.
Sorry. Also, to add on to that, Chris just kind of triggered me. When you think Big Ten, I don't necessarily think Floyd. I think the jug is more what I think of when I think of Big Ten.
EJ, I think you should go next.
Mike wants to be the deciding factor here.
I have no idea where.
Yes, we know where Mike's voting.
Well, Doyle is a
wild card, baby.
Yeah.
Doyle still wants to vote for the Shillelagh.
EJ actually is kind of the deciding vote here. Like whether.
I mean, he needs to not vote for the jug for us to matter.
Or is he just going to put it to bed here?
I don't think I know who anyone's voting for at this point.
Yeah, agreed.
I have made my mind up, but
I voted both of these into the final. I think it's very close. I've always liked. I don't know. I don't know how to describe this other than like it was trophy love at first sight when I saw Floyd, and just when I saw him, and then when I actually looked at the history and where the crazy story, the fact that it started off as not even like an idea of a trophy, right? It was just like let's do something to make this, just a fun little thing. Like I don't think it really mattered at that point what was given. Like the game wasn't like neither team was like, oh my god, I want to win this pig. Like the real bet was just between the two governors. So the fact that then it turned into a trophy that both teams cared about, and to this day, 2021, they literally built a pig statue to commemorate it, on top of the trophy. It's Floyd for me.
Wow. Did not see that coming.
So both these trophies have, storied histories, over 100 years of a rivalry, with Floyd going back to the 1930s and the jug, obviously being the jug. I love Floyd, the story with the governors getting involved. I love when the fans get involved, and it goes all the way up to the elected representatives, the governors, and the AGs, accusing governors of inciting riots. It
gets your legal eagle juices flowing.
It does. I love it. And then there's the jug. The jug stems out of fear of being poisoned by the other team's
legitimate fear.
No, not right. This isn't a silly fear. A legitimate fear that they were going to get poisoned by the other team's fans.
And I think we talked about people, like players were dying. Wasn't that around wasn't that the episode?
That was later. That's the thing. That was like in like the 20s. So they were still early.
People were dying playing this game at this point.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. Wasn't there suspicion before that the jug game that someone got poisoned or many people?
I think that's what it stemmed from.
There was a fear of poisoning. Yeah.
Right. So it was a founded fear of poisoning.
It was not unfounded. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Like that's amazing. I want to be a part of that fandom. not like, the felonious part of the fandom, but like, the lore.
That's the best part.
But for me, it's the 98-pound, 2 foot long, 1.5 foot high bronze pig. Like, I think Iowa Minnesota is a bigger rivalry now.
Well, they play each other.
I think probably for the last several decades. I think they're a closer match teams than Michigan and Minnesota, and that the livestock angle is kind of what the Midwest is for me. I think Midwest and farming and livestock kind of go hand in hand, and the farming livestock angle kind of plays into the kind of football that I expect out of Big Ten teams, like that traditional ground and pound, 3 yards in a cloud of dust kind of football. And I think Floyd of Rosedale is kind of all of that. So for me, it's the pig.
And Floyd was also a show pig. I feel like I don't say that enough. He's not just like
he was a
normal
real
farm
thing.
pig.
He was a real pig. He was a real show pig.
He was
who unfortunately a year after being awarded died of I can't remember what.
Cholera.
Died of something.
I'm gonna vote for you.
Cholera.
Yeah.
What?
I'm voting for Doyle now.
What's that?
Voting for you.
As the winning trophy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mike. It comes down to you.
Take the pop off that shirt for this.
Now it's a party.
Take off your tarp.
What do you got for us?
Gosh, Doyle, I see why you're a lawyer. Such a passionate closing argument.
Add two chameleons and some bourbon, and he's a real lawyer.
Is that allowed in court?
I can't ethically bill when I'm like this, but
good. We can't afford you.
So I'll say this. I'll say, the little brown jug is a trophy that I was aware of before we started this podcast, but I didn't know all the history. The fact that this is such a heated rivalry. This thing came about because of your poisoning. It was stolen back and forth. Do we have the real jug? Do we not have the real jug? What's the real jug? The same woman's been paying it for year after year. It's incredible. I love it. And as soon as we did that episode of the podcast, I'm like, yeah, I think we might have something here. Floyd of Rosedale. A pig solving racial tensions is incredible. I can see why you were hooked on this story as soon as it came up. As soon as you started researching it. And it's incredible. The sheer size and girth of this trophy, beautiful. But there's only one OG. And that is the little brown jug, which is our champion of this bracket.
Ooh. That's not how I saw that going.
Yeah, agreed.
Usually you start with the one that's not your vote.
Yes. It's a shit sandwich.
Some would say. And pigs are known for making shit, or slop. So yeah, for me, it's gotta be the little brown jug. I hate to give it to that smarmy asshole in his sweater vest.
Well, you're not giving it to him. You're giving it to
it's the
jug.
reason why we have all these trophies. It's where it all came about. And for me, I like to, I just, it's the reason why so many other trophies were created. So I have to go with it.
There's definitely a charm to that kind of. Yes. It is like it's just a freaking jug, but there is some charm to that shows that it kind of that's what everything was created based off of.
It just goes to show that something so simple can mean so much to many people.
But yeah, I think it's just it comes down to that was one of the first times you had probably plenty of rivalries in the early 1900s, late 1800s when football is being played, but it's just the fact that was the first time someone said let's play for something beyond this crazy story. It just was. College football is what it is because of rivalries, and as we've learned in this season, as we'll learn in future seasons, what has stemmed from an idea like that has some really cool, creative, unique ideas that just make all of these games more fun for the players playing in them and ultimately for all of us viewing. So as much as I would have loved Floyd to win, the little brown jug, the 7 seed here, probably criminally underseeded, is a great champion, I think, for our season 1. And I'm excited to put this up against some future seasons too.
Hell yeah.
You wait till we have a champions bracket.
Can we
but,
give
oh, go ahead.
What?
I was just gonna say, should you give a preview of future seasons?
So yes. So I
put on the spot.
No, that's fine. So I mean, it was kind of something that I was gonna touch on, but let me first say, just thank you. I think we kind of thanked everyone after our last episode, but now this is the finale for season 1. We just want to thank you guys again for listening, for sticking with us. Obviously, this is the first time we're doing this, and we've really enjoyed it. I hope that's at least come through, even through the slurred words and, the topics that have gone off the rails. And but we're really appreciative. Please continue to support us, to follow us. Stay tuned for season 2. As Chris alluded to, we are going to continue to do trophies. However, we are not going to do trophies in season 2. We're going to hold off, and we have some really cool ideas of something to do for season 2, and we will let you guys know what we come up with after the new year. So everyone, Doyle, Chris, thank you guys for joining.
Thanks, boys.
It was awesome to have you guys on here. Mike and Joe, thank you for not thinking this idea was crazy and for helping me along the way. I think it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait for our future seasons.
Also, thank you to Nathan and Adam. And do we have anyone else on?
We're gonna feel really bad if we did.
Well, thank you to everyone, Ben.
Yeah, thank you for our guests. Thank you for all the people that have interacted,
all the future
with us.
sponsors.
Yes.
Thank you to the NCAA. Actually, no. Screw the NCAA. Thank you to all the individual programs that showed out and made this one hell of a football season. And let's cheers to a fantastic bowl season ahead, boys. And college football, baby. That's
there you go.
Sport. Cheers.
So for Mike and Joe, I'm EJ. Always remember, too much of anything is bad, but too much good whiskey is barely enough.
Cheers, boys.